Hello, hi guys, welcome back to the Football Showdown channel. We are back with a new stream. We are back streaming from home, so we're saving up a lot of money today. But yeah, we are back with another season review. This time, Man City. To help me with that, I have a panelist. Today, it's going to be an all-adult panel. None of the kids who normally turn up late. But yeah, let me call up my friend Salman. Hey, Sadhu, how are you?
Hi,
Good, good, good. Yeah,
Vardhan. How are you?
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy weekend, but you know what? Let's call upon our guest, Vardhan, our friend as well from school. Hey, Vardhan, how are
Hi,
you?
hi, how you doing?
Good.
Long
Oh,
time no see, Salman.
I,
So yeah, it's been a
Like
long time.
Vardhan used to be like the popular kid in KG1.
Was I? Nah, bro, come on, leave me.
I everyone knew you back in KG1, KG2. Your whole
I was,
class.
I was very naughty, man. so, so I guess, yeah. But no, I guess, yeah, nice to see all of you. And it's a Man City review and very atrocious season from every regard, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. Before we get into the Man City review, right? What do you
Yeah.
think about yesterday's Champions League final?
Oh Lord. I mean, I was all in for Inter wanting to win, but like I did speak to you guys right after the game, so I did raise some points very clearly. I feel like the biggest issue is Barca pretty much dismantled Inter. They got some freak goals, as I would like to call it. Dumfries scoring out of all people. Your fullback scoring goals consistently is something you cannot rely upon. And I, and to add on top of that, Barca are missing their starting fullbacks. What Hakimi did yesterday is what Balde does every single game. So Balde would have absolutely dismantled Inter. So I feel like they're very unlucky not to have gone through. And Barca versus Inter, Barca versus PSG would have been a much better final, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah,
Two very attacking teams going at each other, because I feel like Inter's defense were under no pressure at all, even from a press perspective. So it was quite sad to watch. Inter just got absolutely dismantled.
wait,
Um,
wait.
Desiree
What,
Doué.
what do you mean? Inter's defense was not under pressure.
PSG's defense was
Okay.
not under any pressure from Inter from a press perspective.
Yeah.
Even though they were 2-0 down, it didn't really seem like they were trying. Um, they couldn't even keep the ball.
Mm,
Only fair play to Thuram. He actually worked really hard to try and hold up the ball and make some chances left and
yeah.
beside. He
Yeah.
does that really well, and that's probably a very good thing for France coming the World Cup.
Mm,
Um, but from an Inter perspective, that's straight up embarrassing. I think this is the second time they've come to the final and lost. Um,
yeah.
and given Italian football and Italian teams at the moment and the severe debt a lot of the big teams are in, I
Mm,
just don't see many teams coming into the Champions League and putting up a show. Napoli being the only, I would say, they have a chance. They pretty much got De Bruyne now. And I know people say De Bruyne is finished, this, that. I just feel like in a team which is defending and doesn't have to keep pressing up and back, De Bruyne still has a lot to offer.
yeah.
So I think Napoli will have a shot next season, but Inter, I can only see it going down from here.
Mm, yes. Sanju, what did you think about the final?
Yeah, it like Vardhan's points make sense because first of all, Inter, this was probably their last hurrah of the current squad, like
Yeah.
because they're quite old, most of them.
Mm,
And secondly, for me, I felt from the start of the game itself, Inter was kind of battling like the demons of the last final. Like they were not like right on it compared to PSG. Like
mm,
for PSG, yeah, there was the 2020 final loss, but that was only for a few players. Like
mm,
most of the players were like really embracing that they're in a final. And if you see, even like Luis Enrique's teams are always like that. They don't like shy away from the big matches, and they play their game naturally. So that was for me the main difference, like to be honest, because
mm,
tactically, yes, obviously PSG just blew away Inter Milan, but Inter Milan couldn't even get going. Like that was the main issue. Like
mm, mm,
I think even at 2-0, if Inter Milan could have got a goal in, something like they could have at least made PSG sweat a bit. But it was in the end it was embarrassing, to be honest. Like I don't remember watching such a high profile game being so one sided. Like
mm,
maybe like World Cup semi-final of Germany Brazil. That's the last time I remember it being so one-sided, one a big profile match.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, for Inter, like yeah, I suppose it's like they need to invest, but yeah, as Vardhan said, Serie A investing is difficult right now. So I can see why Inzaghi wants to leave, because for him also it's like the end of a cycle in a way.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
So yeah, I guess it's kind of sad, to be honest. Like I'm happy for PSG, but like Inter Milan, I think in the current cycle they have been very consistent in the Champions League, and
yeah,
Mm.
I felt it would have been a good crowning moment for them, like to have a Champions League. I think even like most of the season they're within the quarterfinals and around that position all the time. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I guess it hurts for Inter more even that they lost the league title
Mm.
yeah,
while being in a winning position, and they lost the Coppa Italia semi-final to their arch rivals. So it's like
Mm.
it's been a nightmare like month for Inter Milan. So
Mm.
yeah, but for PSG, yeah, so like I guess I think it's something that it's very important to note that in Champions League it's about getting hot at the right time. Like
yeah,
Mm.
PSG just got into form at the right time, and they just rode that momentum into the final. Like
Mm.
I was thinking about the game against in the semi-final over two legs against us. Like they were like goals which were really avoidable if I look at it at a
yeah,
without a bias or without any kind of Arsenal lens. If I look at it, like we could have we could have prevented at least the goals which we considered at the Parc des Princes. Like
Mm.
those two goals were like really avoidable, and obviously we have already spoken. If we had signed a striker, we could have won that tie. So yeah, so I think PSG was beatable, but they were the most informed team, and that's I think more important than being the best team. Yeah,
and this is something I pointed out um, yesterday when we were speaking as well. So yeah, I think that City game since PSG, that City game,
Mm.
at what I noticed from them and the way they were playing, especially that midfield, for all people talk about physicality, when all three of your midfielders have the capacity to run up and down the field 90 minutes, it doesn't matter at all,
yeah,
literally. And Fabian Ruiz is fairly big and stocky enough to win his duels. He's not the best DM, I would say. He's not good at all, actually. But
Mm.
if all three of them work hard for it, they'll find a way to get the ball back. And
Mm.
that's the beauty of Enrique's team.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I will taking few comments. Feels so good to see one case outcome channel. Amazing community you all have built here. Good to be part. Definitely, bro. Like people like you are the reason why this community keeps growing. PSG killed Interman. No chance at all. No connections or creativity between the lines. And no connection between the attack. Yeah.
This was a really good point. Inter did not have anyone in the middle of the park to take the ball. Like it was basically watching Arsenal, like just going to the wings all the time.
Chalalonglu and Mkhitaryan away past it, and Barella had an absolutely shit game for
Yeah,
his standards. He
yeah,
was so bad yesterday.
really bad. I think their best players had their worst games. That was the biggest issue.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
PSG has left the no USL. Yeah.
Deservedly so.
yeah,
This was a very hard
Mm.
champion. I feel like this format is harder because it's longer. First of all, there's much more. I don't know what the right word is, but you mess up a few games, and the consequences of those are you having to face a very good team at a very early stage. And City basically was the victim of the same thing with facing Madrid in a bad form.
Mm.
yeah,
And stuff like that will happen. So
yeah. No, I feel this format we will see more Cinderella runs. And I think someone who finishes within, like obviously this year PSG already did it, but I think someone more unknown between the 16 and whatever that 9 to 24 range. I think one of the seasons someone will make a big run. Like I can see it happening
like
because
an Ajax run.
yeah, like the Ajax run of that era. Like I can see it happening.
Yeah. Uh, the most fugazi stat was that the Inter had conceded only 5 goals to semifinals, while the Kryptonite topped for
Yeah.
11 goals in 3 games.
No,
Uh,
if you actually looked at the statistics underlying Inter's defensive run, they were overperforming their like defensive like metrics by a lot. Like
Sommer was the reason why.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And yesterday, Sommer couldn't save he couldn't save anything. Like,
Yeah, I felt yesterday Sommer was really, really bad. I thought I thought the third goal could have been avoided. I
Hmm.
genuinely thought so.
Yeah. I,
who
f-
was the
I feel that the formation of the Inter Milan, if it works, it's like really unstoppable. But good teams can easily unlock it. Like if you're going to, only thing is, and I think this is something which I've talked about a lot. Like you need to be adventurous against Inter Milan. You need to like maybe sacrifice giving up the counter for being constant in constant attack against them, and that's what PSG are the best at. Yeah, and I think that Inter couldn't just cope with the constant wave after wave of attack. No matter how good of a defense you are in the world, in history of football, if you're attacking, if everyone's attacking every 2 minutes, you can't keep it up. Like you can't defend everything. Yeah,
and before we say anything else, and I was gonna come on to individuals and Vitinha. I mean, you say he was the MOTM. For me, he was not the MOTM, and I know Desiree Doué did. I think Dembele was the MOTM.
Mm,
The amount of work that guy was putting in playmaking, connecting everything from midfield to the front, bro was not even a striker. He was not even a false nine. He was literally a cam. He was proper cam yesterday.
mm,
And that I don't know if people know whose goal was. I think it was Doué's goal where he
yeah. Third
backflicked
goal. Yeah,
it to convert into Vitinha, who just gave it to Doué.
mm,
Who does that, man? That they
mm,
don't need a if you can play like that and your fingers are that deadly
mm,
and clinical as well, and a Barcola who comes off the bench and has 20 goals this season,
mm,
I don't. They don't need a striker. That this team is gonna be a problem for the years to come.
yeah.
mm. For sure. Mrs. Arvind says we lost to the champion. Huh.
And that's probably a good consolation prize.
Yeah. But yeah, let's okay. The unpredictability of their attack was makes them deadly affairs. Okay,
Exactly.
let's come back to the discussion that we want to have. Man City. Vardhan, you are at spotlight. Pep Guardiola was at spotlight. What?
Ah,
Let's start from the beginning, right? In the summer, you guys have not invested anything. You only sold Alvarez for like 100, for 90 to 100 million, and after that, there was no investments. We genuinely thought, okay, with a 100 million, you will definitely invest somewhere for maybe for another midfielder because Man City have been crying for midfielders, right? Or even get a second striker who's not as good as Alvarez, but somebody who's good enough to get things done. But then, yeah, just talk us
so
through what has
I,
gone
I
wrong.
think I think there's very many problems with City in a broad context. Now I feel like a lot of our problems have been. There's a lot of. Does anyone hear any background noise somewhere?
Yeah, I'm hearing it, but I don't know
Yeah,
if
I don't know where
anything.
is it from.
Maybe I don't know. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's fine now. Yeah, it was just a little bit of stutter, but you can just unmute yourself anytime when I say anything. Yeah, anyway, I was just saying I think it's City's formation and system that Pep has put together that's the main problem. And I know we've won a lot over the last few years.
Hmm.
Um, but I do feel like his system is very dependent on Rodri. Like Rodri is so good at what he does,
Hmm.
easily the Ballon d'Or winner,
Hmm.
controls the tempo, defends, wins his aerial and ground duels. That
Hmm.
it almost never felt like we were struggling in midfield, even though the others were aging. And over time, Bernardo, Gundo, and De Bruyne's performances have been dropping. People are just seeing it now because it's all collapsed in one go. But their
Yeah.
performances have been depleting over the past few years,
Hmm.
especially since the treble year. And I guess the bigger issue with staying consistent and staying good. And I know it sounds like I shouldn't be saying anything because we won so much over the last 3 years, but I guess it's okay to be sensible and honest about what's happening here. Like we have had an absolutely atrocious season for our standards.
Hmm.
Still finished on 71 points, which is great, but if you tell me we didn't sign Marmoush, we
Hmm.
could have been out of the Champions League for sure. Like
Oh.
Marmoush has come up with some big moments for us and has put
Hmm.
in a lot of work, even from a pressing front, which didn't even exist before that. We were not pressing at all. And our
Hmm.
press has consistently got to be one of the worst things I've ever seen in football this season. No,
Huh.
it's literally true. Any team just passes it around us for fun. And the problem is the moment they
Hmm.
bypass our frontline press, our midfield is so non-existent that it goes
Hmm.
straight to the defenders. So it's almost it's almost like it's unfair to criticize our defenders, because what's the point when the ball is literally in the face of the defenders every time we give the
mm,
ball away? Like,
mm,
that's not fair either. Who's the cover? Kovacic, he makes a lot of stupid mistakes.
mm.
That being said, he's come up with with a lot of clutch goals for us this season. So
Right.
he's one of those players I would still like to keep. But
Mm,
then if you look at midfield again, very broadly speaking, there is no press, there is no physicality, which is the main thing. There is
mm,
no athleticism from a pace perspective and a
mm,
stamina perspective. Because
mm,
there's been so many points this season, we lose the ball, and I'm seeing Gundogan trying to get to the ball. He can't
mm.
even reach. He's just so old.
Aging. You're right.
And as the same with Bernardo, I mean, we've all known
Huh.
Bernardo as the most hardworking guy
Mm,
in Pep's team, probably the whole league for a lot of years. Like,
right.
he's the kind of guy you need on your team, don't you?
Mm,
His
mm,
prime years, at least, everyone would
mm.
love one, every manager.
Yeah.
This season, he can't put a pass together, forget
Mm,
dribble. And even
mm.
if you have good close control, what's the point of having good close control if the moment you take a step forward, the guy's back onto you because you had no pace to go beyond?
Right.
Like, you can dribble past someone, but then need to have the pace to actually send him,
Right.
not just
Right.
for him to come back in 1 second and tackle you again. What's the
Mm,
point?
mm, mm,
So there's been a lot of problems, and I feel midfield has been the biggest problem this season.
mm, mm.
Defense has been overly criticized due to the lack of support
Midfielders.
from the
Yeah.
DMs, because we didn't
Mm,
have
mm,
any DMs.
mm,
Pep
mm.
has already done that mistake once when Rodri didn't play in a final against Chelsea, and you could literally
Yeah.
tell the difference. And
Mm,
to this day, I stand by my point. Rodri starts that game. Chelsea does not win that game.
mm-hmm. For
Um,
sure. For sure. Because I think in that game, Gundo was even injured. He was not fully fit for that game,
yeah,
if I'm not
Gundo was
wrong.
not even fully fit.
And
He's
then
put in a
he
exactly.
starts the game not even as a same as a CDM, and yeah, it just went downhill. Like, yeah, bro. Like yeah. Let's not go to Chelsea's bit. We'll stick to Man City. But yeah.
Do you know what's the crazy bit? First
Mm,
thing, on a funny note,
mm.
please never ever win the Community Shield. This is proof. It's the curse. Do not win the Community Shield,
I mean,
because you're always gonna end up having a bad season,
no, but
right?
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
I guess other than City, most of the teams who have won it recently have not had a good season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It's
we also had a
After
terrible
COVID,
season.
especially, whoever won the Community Shield had a bad season.
mm,
And then,
because, mm,
secondly, I think it's just about not having invested after having successful years. I would argue, apart from Guardiola,
mm,
which I have my opinions on, there hasn't been very many successful signings over the past few years, and a lot of
okay.
our success has just been older players still being able to put out quality output from individual
I
performances.
had a question regarding that.
Yeah,
Like, when I'm like, for example, at Arsenal, a lot of Arsenal fans criticize Arteta that he's unable to integrate the younger talents properly into the team. Like, even though there are a lot of examples, like, they are still criticism. With
Mm,
Man City, like, for us, like, a lot of the Arsenal fans who defend Arteta say that the youngsters were not good enough, and like that was proven when they were sold, and then they didn't do that well outside of Arsenal. But
mm,
with City, you have examples like Palmer, Delap, who were like
all the learners.
they were in the yeah, in the academy. Then they were even in the first team in the fringes,
mm,
and then they couldn't get into the team, and they have performed well relatively. Especially Palmer obviously has performed really well.
mm,
So
mm,
is
mm.
that also a factor in why City, like you said, they're relied on aging teams, and if you see, like, it would have been a perfect transition if they had been integrated into the first team, like these young talents. Like, and now I think it might even happen with McAtee, who I think is a good talent. So
Yeah, I think I actually talk about this a lot in general. I feel like City's academy over time has, and it's pretty safe to say it's one of the, if not the top two best academies in the world at this point.
and sorry
Uh,
to, I just had to. I think even Bino Gotens came from your academy, like the Dortmund winger.
yeah,
Frimpong as well.
Git,
Frimpong as well is
Bino
from.
Frimpong.
Gittins.
Yeah, so
Frimpong is also, Olise also.
Hmm.
There's quite a few.
Hmm.
Sancho, I know he's not, but he was a very good talent when he was in our
Yeah.
academy.
Even that goalkeeping talent that right now is at Burnley.
James
Trafford?
Stafford.
Trafford, yeah.
Stafford is a
Even
very good
Trafford.
keeper.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's been a lot. Delap, he's
Delap is your latest one, yes.
um, this I may not have all the names, but
Hmm.
Cole Palmer is probably the biggest one out of them, who's just
Yeah.
consistently become the
Yeah.
main guy at Chelsea.
Hmm.
That being said, I don't think Palmer, even in his current form, would be it for City. And I know that's a very controversial
Hmm.
statement. I just don't see where he fits into this team. And because if you look at our system right now,
Hmm.
Palmer would have ended up becoming a victim of whatever you see us do, and nothing
Hmm.
would have changed.
Mm.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
has a good cross on him, and that's probably the only thing I can think of. Maybe Haaland and Mamo should have had a little bit more success because we just can't cross the ball. Let's be honest. We are the worst set piece taking team in the league. We literally don't convert anything off of corners apart from Guardiola with his occasional header,
Hmm.
and we can't cross the ball at all because our wingers are absolutely shit.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, we do our strikers a lot of disservice,
Hmm.
to be honest. And since Mamush has come in, I could argue the same thing. I guess the only difference between Mamush and Haaland is that if Mamush wants to, he can dribble and hit a banger.
Hmm.
Haaland doesn't exactly do that, so it often feels like Haaland's a passenger. But both of them make a lot of runs which are just ignored, straight
Right.
up.
Right.
They're
Right.
trying to bypass the back line,
Hmm.
and they're trying to make incisive runs which no one looks at. And De
Hmm.
Bruyne, up until last year, was quite good at that. This
Hmm.
year, it almost feels like he's always one step behind. He doesn't have the necessary power in his foot to put in a long ball. He can't
Hmm.
shoot because he just keeps misplacing his shot. He keeps hitting the wall. So
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
been a strange season, but that I will not say De Bruyne is finished. I think creatively these
Yeah.
things are an experience
I
thing.
don't think he
In
is.
a team like
I,
Napoli, he will still cook.
I think in Syria with that pace, I think he will be suited for Italian football at this point.
Absolutely.
I think for Premier League, he's sort of like done.
Okay, I could easily see De Bruyne doing like a Pirlo kind of renaissance. Just
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
With Scott
And
McTominay on top of all of that. And you know
exactly.
what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I've always thought Scott McTominay is a good player. I know he's a United player and I don't give a shit about any of those players. But when he was there, I still thought this guy knows how to crash the box.
mm,
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
he's a bit of a Gundogan, but he's a much more physical, so he's much more of a danger in the
Hmm.
box when a ball comes in. And he's done the same thing for Napoli, man.
mm,
He's I think Napoli's the only team I'm hoping Syria can show up next season in the Champions League, and they have
McTominay, right? Only Scotland so far have utilized him properly. That is to use him as an attacker, maybe as a center forward or somewhere there. Right? They want him somewhere in the box.
he's
When
actually
United were starting to like platform him properly, they sold him. I'm like, fine, okay, it's your own misery. I don't care, but damn, it's good for him, man. Good for him. He went to Napoli and now he's like some messiah out there.
to be honest, he's kind of like how we use Havertz, right? He's kind of
yeah,
like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
He's a midfield, like he's like a 9.5, or I don't, there's no position like that, but yeah, he's like not a striker, not a midfielder. He's like just right in between of those. And if
Hmm.
you have a manager who understands the tactically good, like to understand how to use such plays,
Hmm.
then he's good. Like
Hmm.
you'll
Hmm.
always see that these kind of players will be misprofiled by not good managers.
Hmm.
Yeah,
it's
Hmm.
Conte, right? He is a good manager.
yeah, that's what
Ah,
I'm.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. But yeah, this at least okay till the Arsenal game where we played at the Etihad, it still looked at Man City will be the winners and all of that. But somehow in that match he got injured, and since then it has been like Man City could have been it could be labeled as Rodri or bust at that point, right? And
yeah.
then in the winter you come and invest close to 200 million. But before we come to the winter investment, your league thing you just fell off. Like honestly, I think you fell to like eighth position.
Yeah, it was 1 in 13 games, and
Hmm.
that's how
Hmm.
everyone's gonna remember it. We won one game in
Hmm.
13 games, which
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
I never thought sitting here today that that could happen. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
somehow,
yeah.
somewhere, the players would find a way not. And you know what's funny? A lot
Hmm.
of those games were not straight up losses. We choked those
Yeah,
Hmm.
losses. We
Hmm.
were
Hmm.
winning those games, and we bottled them.
Hmm.
I the Palace one comes to mind. The
mm,
Feyenoord one comes to everyone's mind. The
mm,
3-0, 3-3 one, which was
Yeah.
absolutely dire to watch.
mm,
United,
mm.
Diallo, last moment,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
absolute garbage.
Mm,
So, do you know what I think? I know it's been a horrible season, but if
mm.
Rodri didn't get injured, I can see us picking up at least 10 more points than our current tally.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, for sure. Because like Rod is just not a CDM, na? Like he comes in with those clutch moments, and when
with
you
long
need it,
balls, shots.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
And Rice has done the same thing for you guys this season. Rodri's been doing it for a long time, that being
Mm,
said. But do you see what
mm.
I'm trying to imply? The influence a good midfielder can have on the team.
Yeah,
Someone who
yeah.
can cover spaces, someone who's
Mm,
physically there, controls the tempo. We just lost all of that. But
mm,
that doesn't mean that some of these players this season, I think it's been a good thing in a way because it's forced the board to think, right,
mm,
this team's actually aging and
mm,
getting Gundogan on a free
mm,
and Savinho was not
mm,
not the investment they needed to make. They needed to start looking at this rebuild a little bit earlier,
mm,
but they forced this into a rebuild now. And I know a lot of transfers and a lot of future, but I guess what I will say is up
mm,
until we were leading the league at some point this season earlier, and it was basically plaster over the cracks sort of situation because he kept coming up with last minute goals. You know, the John Stones had his point where he
mm,
kept coming up with headers. He scored
mm,
one
mm.
against you, and then he scored against Southampton was or Wolves. I'm not exactly sure, but
Right.
Kovac has scored a few late minute goals.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
and then I was just like, I see that we're still winning, but something just feels so off because we're not exactly breaking down low blocks.
mm,
And
mm,
for all it's worth,
mm,
that didn't really change a lot over the season. I mean, we're still struggling to break low blocks.
mm,
Uh,
mm,
and I don't really know what can be done about it because if you watch that game against Southampton,
mm.
I've actually never seen anything like it before. Like Southampton literally didn't even want to play football. And I understand Ruben Diaz's points, but what was that? They had 11 people in the box. And for that, you need absolute individual quality, someone coming in and scoring a banger.
Mm, mm,
Marmos hadn't think even started that game. So,
mm,
and here's what I will say. For the looking into the future, without getting into the transfers, speaking from a system perspective,
mm,
I think we started to see some things that Pep might try to do next season. So Nico Riley has been one of the bigger things coming in,
mm,
and Matheus Nunes. I
mm,
know people have opinions on Matheus Nunes. I do too. He is not
mm,
a defender,
mm.
but what Matheus Nunes does that none of our team can do is cross the ball
Right.
and run.
Mm,
He is absolutely rapid. Even I didn't know when he played at Wolves that he was this quick. He's
mm,
actually the one of the quickest people in the league. Surprise you.
mm,
Um, and he makes a lot of bombarding runs down the wing. Now, the
mm,
problem with low blocks is if you keep telling your wingers to take on men, you're relying on them to be able to beat someone, maybe two people at once, which I
mm,
feel bad for Doku sometimes because that's what we force him to do. We just tell him,
mm,
go wide, take on two people, and then put a good ball in. So there's three things he has to do: get past
mm,
one, get past two, and put a good ball in into a box where Haaland and Mamush are completely surrounded. That's
mm.
not how you break down a low block because you're not
Right.
really doing anything. How
Mm,
you
mm,
break down a low block is having fullbacks who can actually overlap and
mm.
make at least one of those defenders go away from the wingers or the inside
Right.
forward.
Mm,
We
mm,
started seeing some of this against Bournemouth, against some of the other teams during the later end of the season.
mm,
And that keeps making me think we're gonna move away from the concept of wingers very soon next season. I don't think we're gonna have we. I don't know if you noticed a lot of the last year games. Marvush was playing off of left wing, but he doesn't actually play off of the left wing. He plays a left
uh-huh.
striker like an inside
This is
forward,
the same thing
Mm,
that is happening at Arsenal. Yeah.
mm,
and it makes sense because having good fullbacks, because Nico Rally and Matheus Nunes are playing, it's possible to do things like this.
mm,
And Guardiola, for all the memes that have come out this season, he's a solid center back, and that's what he should
mm,
have always been. I know he
mm,
has the ability to go forward, but he is a center back.
mm,
He can't put a good cross in. You need your left backs or full backs to be able to put in a good ball in. That's what
mm,
Zinchenko used to do so well for us. That's why he was so successful for us.
mm.
I know there's been links to Ryan Ethnori, and I think that's perfect. This is the kind of
Oh,
stuff need. We need someone to be able to dribble and go
Hmm.
past and overlap so that
Yeah.
either it's Doku or Marmush, they
Hmm.
don't have to just cut in. They have the
Hmm.
option of sliding it down the wing,
Hmm.
and then the defender's automatically caught off guard.
Hmm.
And if you add to that the fact that a fullback can put a good ball in, that makes life much easier because it's a free ball in from that point. And
Right.
Mateus Nunes, for that very reason, is one of
Hmm.
our highest goals and assists this season because he
Hmm.
knows how to bombard the wing and put a
Hmm.
good ball in.
Hmm.
He's
Hmm.
actually a very good prospect, and I would keep him on the team because if he
Hmm.
can learn to stop making stupid mistakes and giving the ball away in the back,
Huh.
he's still quite solid because defensively, he's quite
Hmm.
physical as well, and he
Hmm.
catches up to almost everyone.
Right.
To me, it's more like your center backs need to have pace. If that's
Hmm.
the kind of system you want to employ, where your
Hmm.
fullbacks are bombing up forward because your center backs need to be able to cover ground.
Right.
Gvardiol can do it. I
Hmm.
don't think Ruben Diaz can, and that's the biggest problem at the moment. And Ruben Diaz has got a lot of times,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
And I
then
think if John Stones is like not able to stay fit as well, that is also another issue with
Stones
him.
apparently Everton wants him back. That's the latest thing I heard. Um,
Is
I
it?
can see it though. That's a good
Hmm.
signing for Everton if they make it. He's still quality. You can't tell
Hmm.
me whenever John Stones is fit, he's not class. He's absolutely class even now,
Oh
but he
yeah.
just
Yeah.
can't stay fit. Same with
Hmm.
Ake, and
Hmm.
I think that's the reason both of them are gonna leave. Akanji might stay on for one more season only because
Hmm.
he's still quick, but he makes a lot of errors.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Husanov to me has been very unpopularly and unfairly put through by the media. He's
Yeah.
been very good, in my opinion, for the
Hmm.
amount of time he's played. And the
Hmm.
only reason he's not played the last few games, I think Pep is protecting him from all this nonsense
Hmm. Hmm.
um, because there's no need to. And he wants to
Hmm.
see the
Hmm.
experienced players pull their own at least
Hmm.
one last time for the team.
Yeah.
Kusanov is so rapid. I
Hmm.
feel like he might be the future option going forward. Ruben
Right.
Diaz is there as a leader, and we can't
Hmm.
really give up on that. That's the problem. That's the
Hmm.
dilemma. He is the
Hmm.
leader who keeps the team together, so he stays on.
Right.
So, like I said, coming back to system and not a player's perspective, I think wing backs, not
Hmm.
fullbacks. Liverpool's
Hmm.
already doing it. They got
Hmm.
Frimpong and they're getting Kirkes. I
Kirkus.
think this is the new meta
That was
Hmm.
moving
Hmm.
forward.
that was my point. Like I was like I wanted to say that like I feel football is going towards back towards like a 4-4-2 kind of system. Like again, like
Hmm.
it will be more about how you're gonna attack and
Hmm.
um like like having wing backs who do the like the traditional role of go forward, go
Hmm.
backwards. It's going to be more in that way. I feel inverted, like the inverted wing back thing is going to reduce a lot now. Like even if like obviously at City, Vardhan has said, even if you look at us over the last 2 months, we have been playing Saka almost centrally in most of
Hmm.
the games,
Yeah.
and Martinelli is also playing central, and then
Hmm.
you're having like Miles and Timber or White just playing like going up and down.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think that's the way like you're seeing PSG, Barca, like these guys, all guys are playing like that,
Hmm.
and
Literally.
Hmm.
it's going to happen, and I think that's why recently been a like upward trend in like the dribblers getting more like um, more like,
Recognition.
because they're
Huh.
getting the space to actually do things. Like
Hmm.
as Vardhan said, if there's a fullback who runs,
Hmm.
then there will obviously be space for the winger to do something.
Hmm.
And in the inverted system, that was the reason why you needed players like a Bernardo Silva who was more shifty rather than
Hmm.
a pure dribbler.
Hmm.
And so I think that's going to be an interesting scenario in the next
Hmm.
seasons, like
Hmm.
especially for clubs. City obviously are at another level, but for City, Arsenal, the kind of teams who play a kind of a rigid, more structured system, I
Hmm.
think it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to adapt to this new wave of teams.
Hmm.
Because if you see, as you saw in the last match in the final, like in on its peak, the system which PSG, Liverpool they apply is
Hmm.
unplayable. Like
Hmm.
you can't stop, you can't do anything. Like
Hmm.
and these kind of systems which Arsenal, City play, they're highly dependent on being
The
kind
defensive structure.
of
Hmm.
perfect. No, kind
Hmm.
of being perfect. Like you need everything
Yeah.
to work in a synchronized way, and then if it works, it's beautiful. It's like you can't do anything. But when it's like when there are one or two key pieces missing. Like for us, it was
Hmm.
no striker, the number 8, the CDM. For
Hmm.
City, CDM was not there. So when those kind of key pieces are missing, it looks very bad, and it looks so unpleasing on the eye. Even for Arsenal, this was a whole huge issue this whole season. Like we were so bad at breaking down low blocks, and
Hmm.
it would always be the same game. Like
Hmm.
you can write the script of every Arsenal game. We have possession for 70% of the game, and then the opponent scores with the first attack. This happens like every game for Arsenal.
Hmm.
Literally every City game as well.
So
Yeah,
it's like,
we'll take. Hmm.
yeah,
We'll
so
take a few comments and continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vamsi says last time Pep had a bad season, he won the league with 100 points.
Um,
it depends on how much he will adapt and how much he will be getting a new team. Yeah, I feel. Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree. I think 100 points itself made that an amazing season. I would argue the
Hmm.
last Arsenal title chase where we didn't win the Champions League or any other cup, and we only won the league was probably worse than the 100 point season for sure. 100 points
Hmm.
is something else.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, it might have been more interesting to people, but as a City fan, 100 points was something else.
Hmm.
Uh,
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And the way
Dr. Vivek says, "Hey Sucheet, congratulations, congratulations, thank you. Welcome back, Salman and Vardhan. What are we? We're discussing literally the title, Man City's scenes review. Just is it just a one-off thing or is it like a downfall? We'll be discussing later. Vardhan, by talking about Doku and all, I'm relating with Martinelli doing all these three things, and also then tracking back defensively, mostly doing well without a number 9 and still facing heat. Well, Dr. Vivek, what
that's
do you? Yeah.
I mean, as much as a lot of the City and Arsenal have some different kind of style of play, but they're very similar in many ways still.
Hmm.
And I think
yeah,
we will see the reflections of the changes of their tactics next season. Like I feel both the teams will change their tactics up. Yeah.
Okay, okay. We just have some nice breaking news. By the way, the window is open for like from June 1st to June 10th. We just had
yeah,
some breaking news from Fabrizio saying that Kelleher, Liverpool's second goalkeeper, basically, Kelleher is off to Brentford, and we have Mark Flecken,
Yeah,
Brentford's
he's going
first team,
to
Bayern Leverkusen. Bayern
Leverkusen.
Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Damn. Wow. Okay.
you
I
know,
I
hmm,
feel I feel Brentford is too low for Keller, to be honest. Yeah.
uh,
You know what? I kind of agree.
Like
Flecken's actually nice though. I mean,
Huh?
he makes odd mistakes, but Flecken saves a lot of good
Flecken is
chances.
good. There is no doubt. No, for Flecken, it's an upgrade. For I think for Kelleher, it's like a huge down. I mean, obviously from Liverpool going anywhere, it'll be a huge downgrade. But yeah, like how Salu said, I think.
I could have actually seen like Keller going to like Leverkusen. Like I
Hmm,
I think that would have been nice for Keller. Yeah.
true, true. But
But I think
yeah.
10
Hmm,
million for a Bundesliga team, it's like cheap and easy to
hmm.
get Flecken. Yeah. Mm.
Bipra says, "Hola, welcome, Bipra. How are you?" Mrs. Arun says, "Cherky and Reindeer are coming in." Okay, I do have some things to talk about Cherky. I will come back, but we'll take the rest of the comments and we'll come back to the school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't
Well,
really gotten into the future bit yet, so I would
uh,
have come to that eventually. Yeah,
exactly, exactly. While agreeing with Salman Bhai, just the part of just the part that football is changing. I don't think the beautiful and possession football will be back. There were similar noises post 2014 World Cup period. Hmm.
I,
Okay.
I don't think it will be back fully, but yeah, I think they will be more
Hmm.
like I feel a lot of the teams are realizing that if you're having a good attack, let's just attack. Like, like I feel
Hmm.
that there's been a shift in mentality.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
they're willing to be open at the back a bit more nowadays.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
especially like for me, eye opening was watching PSG and Barcelona this season. Like because watching Arsenal and watching City being especially watching City dominate,
Hmm.
like I had a vision, generally a vision that this is the way to win a lot of games, like, or
Hmm.
this is the best way to win a lot of games in recent times. But then the way Barca and PSG just open up their defense and like go for it, I
Hmm.
think
yeah.
I think it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, what's going on?
Arush, you hope you're. Yeah. I hope you're doing well, sir. Bro has been on some bender kind of shit, but yeah, it is what it is. When Spain was thrashed by Netherlands and Pep's Bayern couldn't do much in UCL, they all hate the Zidane style of direct, pragmatic football or flicks heavy metal as future, but Pep was back. Fair. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, go on, go on, go on.
No, I was just gonna say there's been a lot of scrutiny around Pep
Mm,
and Arteta and all the sideways passing stuff. I
mm,
think people don't realize that the only reason that doesn't work is because at some point we used to have quality individual players who had the patience to play in that
mm,
system and make the right runs and through ball the right time.
Yeah,
mm,
If your players are not sufficient to be able to play a complicated, very precise system like that, it will
mm,
look worse, and
yeah,
that's just the part and participle of what it is.
yeah,
yeah.
I still think that is still the more pragmatic and better approach to
yeah,
playing football,
Mm,
because this can expose you to so many counter attacks. And
mm,
City, in their best, were absolutely amazing at counter attacking teams. As much as
mm,
we're not known for counter attacking, but
mm,
when Leroy Sané and Sterling were there,
mm,
our counter attacks were absolutely unstoppable.
mm, mm.
So yeah,
Kelleher is an FPL
yeah.
asset next for sure, for
absolutely,
sure.
I think he's going to be the most bought keeper next season, obviously.
for
I'm
sure.
not even like thinking twice. It's just going to be Kelleher for sure. Ashbro will take in this comment soon. We'll discuss about this as well because we're not come back. We're not come to that point of the
Yeah.
discussion. Correction, possessional football will be back soon. Maybe next season, PSG also plays possessional football, but with highly
That
technical
was
players.
not my point. My point was, my point was being in at the change in mentality, in like maybe sacrificing defensive stability a bit more for being good attacking. Like,
Mm,
I feel like I don't know about City fully, but especially at Arsenal, it has been a lot of a gripe with the fans that
mm,
we are too focused on not conceding, and like rather than attacking. Like we
mm,
don't want to concede first, and
mm,
yes, that is more sustainable, obviously,
mm,
because you want to always have a solid defense.
mm,
But yeah, I think there are a lot of more and more bigger teams. Like if you look at Liverpool this season, their main focus was let's blow teams out of the water. Like
mm,
let's just go and win, score like goals. And
mm,
obviously that might not be sustainable, but I think in especially in cup competitions like Champions League and all, I feel it's going to increase more. Yeah,
mm,
because
mm,
especially the main I think one of the main reasons for this is also the lack of away goal rule now. So the
mm.
away goals rule being removed has helped teams in attacking in both the legs.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, for sure. Uh, Mancini's football at City was a treat to watch. Yes, glued to watch every City game as a United fan. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll come back to City nicely put there. Come to summer, you guys splashed 200 million. We thought you guys will invest a lot in the midfield, and you sort of did that. First was
Winter, you yeah.
winter, na? In winter they
Yeah.
splashed 200 million. What did
You
I say?
said summer.
You
We
said
haven't come to that yet, but winter, yes.
Damn it.
I guess my only point that I'd like to raise about winter is
Hmm,
it was less of a it was less of a transfer window to address the current situation. It was more of a
hmm,
transfer window to start the rebuild.
Hmm.
Uh, and the
hmm.
focus wasn't, because if you notice, we barely started these players apart from Marmoush. Like Nico Gonzalez didn't even play that many minutes at all
I
since
think he
since
played
we
and he
joined.
got injured, right? No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he got injured for one game, but ever since then he's
Okay.
been on the bench and he's
Hmm,
not even started any games. He only started the last game because Kovacic got red carded in the Bournemouth game,
hmm,
and
hmm,
he played a few minutes in the Bournemouth game because again Kovacic got red carded in that game as
hmm,
well.
hmm, hmm,
Uh, but he's been quite good, I think, whenever he's played, and we've kind of lacked that physicality. But I think Pep just didn't want to punish these younger players in a bad situation, and he wanted
hmm,
to keep their motivation high. And I get it, that's
hmm,
part of good man management, really,
hmm,
because once their confidence breaks, it's really hard to get back. And I think getting Champions League and being third on top of all of it, not fourth, not fifth, will
hmm,
bring a lot of motivation back into the team. So we
hmm,
bought Vitor Hayes, we bought Husanov, Marmoush, and Nico Gonzalez from the main ones.
hmm,
Only Marmoush started games, and he had to, because Haaland was
hmm.
also injured for a 2 month
Injured,
period.
yeah.
People just
Yeah.
forget.
Hmm,
Um, and he didn't really look that great. And again, he didn't even take a penalty against Crystal Palace when we were 1 goal down, which is very strange to me because I'm
mm,
pretty confident he would have scored. And
mm,
I think who was it? Who's the keeper? Um, who's the
Dean
keeper?
Henderson.
Dean
Yeah.
Henderson. He said as well after the thing, he said Marmoush takes like 70% or something of his penalties in the same area. He said if
mm,
Haaland took it, I wasn't entirely sure which way he would go, which is true because
mm,
Haaland's quite good at penalties.
mm,
He's
mm.
just not had a great record of the past. But City players in general have been very dodgy when it comes to hitting and saving penalties. Like we don't
Huh.
save penalties at all.
Mm,
Um, so I like I said, as for the winter transfer season's concerned, I feel Vitor Hayes is a future option.
mm, mm,
Husanov is a more direct future option in that he will
mm,
see a lot of minutes in the upcoming season because
mm,
we need to keep rotating our centre backs.
mm,
Um, Plus Husanov is just really quick, so against certain
mm.
teams he might actually be the preferred option.
I
Um,
just hope he's given enough time to like get adjusted to the entire Premier League speed. I know with the preseason with Man City, he'll definitely come like
well, there's the
I,
Club
I,
World Cup which helps.
yeah,
Yeah.
in true club. Yeah.
Kusanov is a really good defender. Like I think
Mm,
it's just a matter of time. He
mm,
was
mm.
really, really highly rated even before the lens extent.
Yeah, yeah, true,
He
true.
was like
Well,
really,
when there were teams analyzing who
yeah.
are the players that we need to look at Lens or Lons, he was one of these defenders that people spoke about. But so yeah.
I think Vardhan put a really good point, like saying about throwing in youngsters, and I think this is something we like I in our club also we relate to because
Mm,
um like it's so easy for a fan to say just throw in the youngsters and let them swim or sink,
mm,
but that's because we do not personally know these guys, or we just know them as like this is a player and we like him and we want our team to do well. But as a
mm.
manager, you cannot like just throw in a youngster and say the same my season basically.
Huh, huh.
You cannot do that, and I think that was a main discourse even at Arsenal. Like when Odegaard was having a bit of a dip of form, everyone
Mm,
was screaming, "Play Vaneri, play Vaneri,"
mm, mm,
and for example, when I saw him play, yeah, he's good, and
mm,
his allure is because he's a 17-year-old.
mm,
Obviously, he's really good for a 17-year-old, but is he good if you remove the age factor? Is he good enough to be replacing Odegaard? Which I don't think was the case,
mm,
and like and people will like then point out to a Miles Lewis Kelly or someone like that. But if one player, like those are outliers. Like generally 18, 17 year olds don't like hit the ground running so quickly.
mm,
Like you need
mm,
to protect them a bit, and I
mm,
think this is very important. And I understand why Guardiola removed Kusano from the starting 11 because
mm,
of these
mm,
reasons. Because first of all, he had that horrid start, which was unfortunate, like
mm,
his first game itself, and then he was immediately like under the spotlight because of that, and
right.
it would have destroyed him completely. Like he's such a talent, and you would have like wasted him just because you wanted to save a season which was probably doomed from the start for like for City and for Arsenal.
Mm, mm,
Like
mm,
I, and like as Vardhan said, like there's going to be a lot of changes next season for at City, and even
mm,
I feel like same at Arsenal. I feel at there was a certain feeling of let's try to get the best of the season at both clubs, but it
mm,
was like let's just reset for the next season. Like
mm,
even at Arsenal, we had the dream kind of a dream run in the Champions League. We didn't really expect to be in the semi-final, given the situation what was going on.
mm,
And even at City, the it at the most it was the FA Cup for lifting, like
mm.
and getting Champions League. So like in a way, it was more like a transitional 6 months period for both the clubs. Like
I was
in
kind of surprised, like even though like, I know Crystal Palace have won it. Yeah, there was a dodgy moment with Dean Henderson as well, but you've
Oh,
invested in the winter, and it was the FA Cup. It was Crystal Palace. Like you are Man City, right? Like I know even Glasner came out and said if Man City keeps playing like this, we'll definitely come back. Fair play, fair play. They did win it in the end, but what?
I don't think calling that decision dodgy is enough. It was
I
like
don't think that was just a dodgy. That's straight up bullshit from
Hmm,
where I see it because
yeah, that was
I don't know what else. I think their argument was that the ball was already going sideways. I'm like, if Haaland sees Henderson put his hand out,
Mm,
what is Haaland supposed to do?
mm,
Obviously, he'll try to put it in a direction where his hand is not going, right?
mm,
Because his hand is coming straight. Is he supposed to just hit his hand? Is that what he's supposed to do?
I don't even see it that way. For me, it's as simple as goalie touch the ball with the hand
Outside of the
outside of
box.
the box. That's like that's a straight
uh,
red in any football scenario. Like
And
you
then
don't.
it would have been a different game. And because that
mm,
was
for
very
sure,
early, that was before halftime. That was like
for
30
sure.
something minutes.
Mm, mm,
Um,
mm,
on top of that, we missed a penalty. Echeverry missed a good chance. Nico Riley just didn't shoot the ball when he had so much space and he was very close to scoring. We had
mm,
chances that game and we probably should have won it. But fair play to
mm,
Palace. I think they've been our bogey team for many years, actually. It's not a new
mm,
Yeah,
thing. Even when we were good, they've been a bogey team for us. So
mm,
um, the Glasgow has done a good job at Palace, but this isn't about Palace. I guess what I'm really saying is that game is not an example of what's wrong with our season. I think we were fine that game defensively as well.
mm, mm.
It's just, I mean, I don't know who decided that and whatever his name was, but that I've not seen very many stupid decisions like that, such
Uh-huh.
obvious ones as well.
True, true, true.
So
it's okay. You can just watch some of our matches this season. You will find stupid decisions.
I know, but it's more like calling the difference between a red card and a foul. But this is just someone, a goalkeeper, just grabbing the ball and hitting it when he's not even standing in his own box. To me, that's just crazy. Like, what kind of excuses are you
Yeah,
supposed to
that's what
produce from that
that to
stuff?
me that's like the most like when you are as a child when you learn about football, those are the two things you learn. Like a goalkeeper can't touch the ball outside of the box.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing you learn. Like
Well,
So
we'll take
yeah,
it. Yeah.
it was an odd one.
Bibek says too many parties in England, Liverpool, Premier League party, Chelsea, Conference League party,
Stop
Tottenham,
it, bro.
Europa League party, Arsenal. Dude, Arsenal literally celebrated the Arsenal women's used
Bro,
to.
don't. This is about men's football. Let's not do this. Like, but I don't understand the point of this comment either. To be honest, I think Arsenal did as best as they could this season. So you can't
first of
really.
all, party spelling is wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, you get where he was going with this,
yeah.
right?
But that's not how
Poor
you
guy.
pronounce his name also. Party.
Yeah, yeah. Poor guy, poor guy. I mean, he's trying to troll. Fair play. You got, yeah. Enjoy. Thomas Partey to Bar. Oh yeah, I did read about that. I did read about that. But
Do they
Proper
need
rules
him?
then,
or like just dodgy links.
um,
Yeah,
but
if this IT
yeah.
case, then don't trust them.
No,
It's ridiculous.
apparently it came out from a no, from a normal. I mean, from a normally reliable source, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
but Barca has way too many crap sources. I wouldn't trust any Barca news till it's actually out properly. Barca, Spanish
hmm,
football teams have way too many absolute crap sources.
hmm,
So let's not even talk about
Even
that.
even 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 their good news outlets put up fake news all the time.
Literally.
hmm, hmm. But we'll stick with Man City.
Mm.
This team. Maybe we'll talk about the Arsenal transfers tomorrow if we do not have another stream with another regarding Chelsea. But definitely today is just strictly Man City and a little bit better if you have something. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, end of season you get Champions League. It it kind of looked at one point that Man City were not getting UCL, and then you guys go on a run and you do your normal thing. You hit your
Well,
December or you hit your winter run at the right time and got your UCL as well.
fun fact: we won 10 of our last 12 games.
Uh-huh.
So I think the point around City always finishing the season strong still stands, regardless of whatever the
That's what I
situation is.
said, right? Your winter run has finally hit at the right time to get at least UCL because till then it was looking out of UCL. Imagine you guys got Europa with all those players. How does
Yeah,
it work? Yeah.
I don't. I think some of them might have had an intention of leaving. That being said,
Hmm.
I don't think getting top four next season should be an issue.
Top five, top five.
But is it five again next year, guaranteed?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he'll continue,
No,
right?
it's like it's. I think it's season to season. Like
Yeah, season to season. I
Oh,
think the next season, City, the Premier League teams will have needed to qualify to a certain stage in the Champions League to
okay.
get that
Okay.
fifth spot.
I thought the coefficient will like go on for like some one
like
or two
last
periods
like
and then.
this season because Arsenal beat Real Madrid. That's why the fifth position got unlocked for the
Yeah,
Champions League.
Hmm. Hmm.
and I
Okay.
think La Liga only has three, right?
No, La Liga has five and
La-
Premier League has
Four.
two.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I think it's just one of those.
Hmm.
But I think the next transfer season is what kind of determines where
Hmm.
everything goes. And I
Hmm.
guess how I want to address the next transfer season.
Hmm.
Speaking about it, obviously, I'm not the manager of.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm not Khaldun.
Hmm.
Uh, but if you look at what positions we need, first of all, a
Hmm.
Rodri backup is Nico Gonzalez.
Hmm.
We still don't have a pure six as a backup, and
Right.
that's where I'm concerned. But what I feel is two physical, taller, stronger eights can do
Hmm.
Rodri's job
Hmm.
defensively. So that's probably where Nico Gonzalez comes in, and the latest almost done Rangers.
Hmm.
I've always rated the guy. I've
Awesome.
watched him play for Netherlands. The
Hmm.
guy is an, and I did say the other day, if you go into MatchDB or whatever that website is, and they do basically graphs and charts of
Hmm.
uh, people's spider diagrams of what they're
Right.
good
Right. Right.
at.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
is the
Hmm.
exact same as Prime Gundogan's years, and I think that's kind of what we need now. I think Gundogan's been that second pivot to Totti for so many years, and we just seem to miss anything like that for the last 2 seasons. Um,
Hmm.
so Reinders hopefully will be that. He is a
Hmm.
lot more physical than Gundogan ever was. He can run
Hmm.
a lot more than Gundogan ever can.
I think he's a
Albeit,
I think
yeah,
he's a 100% hit signing for me. Like I will be really really surprised if he flops at City. Like for me, he's a perfect like Pep Guardiola kind of player. Like grinders. Yeah.
I've always hated him for that reason. I think he's a very hardworking guy. He has a goal on him.
Hmm.
He's got good dribbling. He can pass. He's not like a De Bruyne, but he can definitely pass the ball. I think Nico Gonzalez is gonna be the backup option.
Hmm.
But with City's backups, your immediate backup in City is always a guy who gets a lot of minutes regardless. You
Mm.
could tell by
Right.
Alvarez, he was supposedly our striker backup, but the guy played a lot of minutes for us for someone who came off the bench. So I
Yeah.
think
Hmm.
Nico
Hmm.
Gonzalez is going to do that, and it's going to be a fight between Gonzalez and Reinders because they have very similar skill set.
Hmm.
Reinders is a lot older and a lot more proven. He's 20. He's going to turn 27 soon. So it's
Hmm.
not your ideal City signing where we're signing someone young. But I
Hmm.
feel like in a position that important, you
Hmm.
need proven players, and you can't always sign projects. Uh,
Right. Right.
and I think we should be done signing projects at this point, especially in that midfield, if you want to keep it stable.
Hmm.
It's always good to have players in the background who are up
Hmm.
and coming and get minutes, but I think Nico Gonzalez and Reinders can fight that spot amongst with Rodri. I don't
Hmm.
want Rodri to play every single 90 minutes either. The
Hmm.
consequences of that can be very bad. Plus, I think even Rodri needs to consider it, given the World Cup is coming around next year. Please don't put
Hmm.
yourself in an odd situation, because
Hmm.
at the
Hmm.
end of the day, we all understand playing for your country is the biggest honor, and
Hmm.
you don't
Hmm.
want to miss out on that with a bad injury,
Yeah.
or a bad, probably even get dropped out.
Hmm.
Um,
You
so
said
yeah, I mean,
regarding, is
yeah,
this one that you're talking about ever
um,
regarding Grindr, or is it something else?
it's not FBref that I looked at, but I
Okay.
think
I think
um,
the other one. It'll be, yeah. Go
Match
on, go on.
TV or something. But
Ha,
either
ha,
way,
ha.
my point is just it's literally just that they're very similar.
Hmm. Hmm.
His defensive output is not great,
Hmm.
but that also because he's been a little bit more forward up this season for AC Milan. His defensive
Hmm.
statistics were better last season, but they had a different formation last system, and he was asked to play a little bit
Hmm.
deeper. So
Hmm.
Rangers to me is a must sign. No matter who we would have signed, we absolutely needed to invest in a player like this, and this is the absolute perfect. I mean, there might be other players out there, but Salman might agree. But for
Hmm.
an eight, that's the
Hmm.
best option we could have gotten out there in the market right now.
Hmm.
And for AC Milan, they were kind. I mean, it's not done yet, so I don't want to go overboard, but it must be done
Hmm.
because AC Milan have had an absolutely horrible season. They've
Oh my
managed to
God.
go
Yeah.
to Europe, so I don't know how they managed. They couldn't keep Rangers. Let's be real.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's that. You could probably see Leo exiting as well this summer. Who knows?
No, so apparently Liao might stay. Well, at least as of yesterday, uh,
If
because Bayern wanted to sign him as well. But from what Bayern fans are saying, that he wants to stay at AC Milan, and so that is why they're not able to pursue his services at Bayern.
honestly, any top player, I don't know why they'd stay at AC Milan right now. Like
Hmm.
they're in shambles. Like okay, they
Yeah.
had that one league title, but that was just
Hmm.
I don't know. That was a miracle.
Even Mainan, he's a great keeper.
Oh
Should
yeah.
not.
Hmm.
He should leave.
Hmm.
Come to City. But it's fine. We're probably getting Diogo Costa or someone.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
that who's the guy that Barca is trying to get back? The
Garcia.
Spanish one, Juan Garcia. I think City wanted him, but I think he wants to stay in and around Catalonia. So um,
Yeah, he's
he's
going to
going to
Barca.
yeah,
Mm.
he's gone to Barca now. I think
Hmm.
Costa is your next City keeper. That
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
said, I would be happy to stay on the safe side and keep Edison for one more year.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
Edison leaving has gone a bit quiet, so I'm assuming that's probably because he said okay to staying one more year.
Hmm.
Uh, I know he doesn't save a lot of shots, but
Hmm.
to our system, he's always been very important.
Hmm.
And I think it'll be a sudden shock for our defenders if they can't just happily just pass the ball behind, hoping that
Hmm.
the keeper will not have any issues with
Hmm.
distributing it back where he needs to be. If
Right.
we get a keeper who's not good on his feet,
Hmm.
and suddenly the defenders are just scared to pass the ball back to the keeper in uncomfortable positions, it
Hmm.
might cause a lot more mistakes that end up leading to goals. That's my only concern. That being said, my ideal starter would have been someone like Verbruggen, which we have not been linked to at the moment.
Hmm.
I like that keeper. He's good at short stopping and with the ball. Costa is a bit of an unproven one to me only because I've only ever seen him play well for Portugal. I have not seen him. He's had some horrid games at Porto, so I don't really know where this interest is coming from. Uh,
There is a Spanish keeper who's been like in everyone's mind. Uh,
Juan Garcia.
Garcia.
Yeah,
Garcia. Yeah.
that's what I
He's
said.
saying
He's
he's
going to
going to
Barca.
Hmm.
Barca. Mm.
In
He's
you,
not very good with his feet either, though. He's just an amazing short
I
stopper.
know, I know, but like, yeah, I mean, like from Espanyol, you're going to Barca, isn't it? Isn't it like aren't they like arch rivals?
Yes, but you have to understand just how good he is because he is the sole reason why Espanyol didn't get relegated
Oh
this
yeah,
season.
I'm not disregarding what he has done for Espanyol. I'm just saying, why would he go to the arch rivals? It's like,
It's
It
about
is a
Spanish
rivalry,
football.
but it's not. It's like look at the positions are just it's just
Yeah.
different level. Like come
hmm,
on,
hmm,
yeah.
Yeah. That being said, Liam Delap was linked to United. How do
yeah,
you end up going from a city, to like Sancho? I wouldn't
hmm.
have thought these guys would even said yes to City, to be honest. To
No,
United, I mean. But
I
they
mean,
apparently were.
they left at their academy age itself, right? So I think that is still fine. But this guy has been playing for their team properly, like solid for their main team, not even their academy. From academy to their rivalry, I get it. I completely get that. It's just still trying to make it is a big thing, right? But you're playing for the main team, you're the main guy, and then you go to your arch rivals. It's just
I
like
mean,
okay,
if you actually had a lot of interest or got he would have actually had some concrete offers, he would have gone like for sure to a
Right.
Newcastle. I heard
hmm,
Newcastle, like even I heard City was kind of interested, but then
hmm.
I think in the end concrete offers didn't come and Barca's not ready for a concrete offer. So
I think Newcastle going for this one City's
Rashford.
academy guy Trafford, huh? I think
Yeah.
they're going for Trafford if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
That's because they found out that Garcia is not like is not
Yeah.
Hmm.
feasible.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
I would rather Trafford be our backup keeper.
Hmm.
He'd be backup at Newcastle anyways because Nick Pope is
Hmm.
very good.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think we need some homegrown players to fit the quota as well. So I can see
Hmm.
a world where we get James Stafford as our backup keeper and we keep
Hmm.
Edison for one more year.
Right.
Uh, and Ortega leaves because apparently
Hmm.
by Leverkusen. I mean, Leverkusen's a strange one to me. I think selling words and a lot of other players leaving on free agency puts them in a very bad position now, almost to a point where I feel like they've gone from being a competitive team in the league competing with
Hmm.
Bayern to suddenly they might start dropping off really badly now
Hmm. Hmm.
because they're losing their players. But
Hmm.
this is where I come. This is where I mention some of the levers, and I feel like McCarthy might be going. I
Hmm.
like McAtee.
Hmm.
He has a very good eye for goal. He's
Hmm.
always there in the right positions. He has some sort of a pass on him, but he can finish with both his feet. He's quite good that way. He can
Right.
play as a winger if needed, but
Hmm.
he's more of a false nine kind of guy.
Hmm.
Um, I think so. Coming to the 10 position now, and this is where my point about McAtee comes in. There was a
Hmm.
world where I thought
Hmm.
getting Verts was ideal because why
Uh,
Leverkusen would have wanted that, because I
uh,
guess if you look at it from a broader picture, to
hmm,
Leverkusen getting someone from City
hmm,
and them as getting words is not just a transactional relationship of two players going here and there. It's about
hmm,
building a relationship where where we trust them to take our academic graduates on a
hmm,
loan or whatever in the future, and
hmm,
selling them on good prices or
hmm.
performing for Leverkusen. Do you see where I'm coming from? Like a long-term
Yeah.
partnership,
Yeah.
and I
Ha,
thought
ha, ha.
that's what Leverkusen and City were after.
Hmm,
But I think Wirtz just rejected City. I just think he didn't want to come to City, or he
hmm,
wasn't happy
hmm.
with whatever we proposed to him, and
Right.
he's gone on and chosen Liverpool. Now that would have been my ideal transfer. I know we all upset about it in the group chat, Bayern fan,
Hmm.
Vignesh, everyone. So he's going to Liverpool now, and I
Right.
think all I'm gonna say is Liverpool is moving like champions right now. They have
Hmm,
just pretty much secured Kirk as got Frimpong, and they're
hmm.
also getting Florian Wirtz,
Words.
a
Words.
position
Yeah.
which we didn't think they needed, but they're just
Hmm,
doing what big teams do. They're getting the best player in the market into their team.
hmm, hmm,
Shobozla's job is in danger.
hmm.
Uh,
Not just
so
Sobosla, I think even McAllister.
no. McAllister is more of a box to box guy. Words can never take over what McAllister does. But Szoboszlai, I think what he offers to the team is very replaceable right now,
No, I
especially
think the
Szoboszlai.
physicality and the running needed in that midfield to make sure, because the way Trent or like, the way Trent used to bombard, all that midfield drama used to be handled by Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, right?
Um, I think you're underestimating. I mean, he has a bad injury record, but Wirtz actually plays a lot bigger than he is. Wirtz is actually quite stocky. When he plays, he can
Hmm,
put in the work if needed. Although
hmm,
he is mostly a very that's why I liked him. That's why I wanted him. But
hmm,
he rejected City, so that's not even on question. It's not even a thing where the
hmm,
management have failed to do. He just rejected City.
hmm,
I know the articles that said were something like City felt they were too expensive,
hmm,
and it
hmm,
was approaching 300 million. I'm like, that's PR. That's what the board has told to the
hmm,
media to tell people outside, because they don't want to say that Birds rejected us straight up.
hmm,
Uh, and he's rejected Bayern, and this whole
hmm,
complicated saga, thankfully, actually didn't even take that long.
hmm,
Realistically speaking, I thought this would take a lot longer. I think there's
hmm,
a lot of conversation going on around what kind of price Words would actually end up being sold at.
hmm.
Uh, so
Then
that's why we
whom
haven't
he's
seen it
getting
gone
sold
through
to?
yet.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but 110, 105 pounds million is kind of the
I mean, now they're
horizon.
talking close to like 130, right? If I'm not wrong.
Euros.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. That's in
Yeah.
euros. Okay.
Um,
But, hmm,
so yeah, that's gone. But I guess
hmm,
that brings us on to our chair's statement and Cherky. So he
hmm,
said we want all our signings done before the Club World Cup, at
hmm,
least the main ones.
hmm,
He said that in an interview, and it's almost like if the chairman of your club is saying stuff like that, the
hmm,
management who works underneath basically get like a deadline. They're just
hmm,
like, right, we need to get these out of the way, because he's put up a public facing statement to all the fans
hmm,
saying that yes,
hmm,
we'll have
hmm,
our business done. And he said, and I think there was an inherent message in what he said somewhere, that we've clearly identified our first option targets and our second option targets. And I
hmm,
think that's kind of what he was alluding to with the whole word saga,
hmm,
indirectly.
hmm, hmm.
And clearly, our second target is Mr. Ryan Turkey.
Okay.
Um,
I know what you're going to say, but
yeah,
before you say something, right? So look, what are your honest thoughts on Cherky? Because I do have my own thoughts regarding it. I've seen him play here and there, and I've seen him play like complete 180 plus how much, close to like 210 minutes of him playing for Leon, right? I'll say something, but before that, I want to know your opinion
For
about
me,
him.
he kind of reminds me of a stockier Samir Nasri. Like when Samir Nasri used to
exactly.
be
I
there
was gonna say,
at
yeah.
City, he reminds me
Hmm,
of that. Like
hmm,
he's just a bit more stockier, that's all.
hmm,
And I guess like if he is willing to work on his like defensive game under Pep, and I think that will be a prerequisite under Pep. Like every player works hard,
hmm,
and if he adds that aspect to his game,
hmm,
I do think it's going to be a steal of a signing if
hmm,
he adds that aspect. But
hmm.
is he going to? We'll see about that. But I think it's a for that price. I don't think
Hmm.
you can go like it's a no brainer to me. Like. Yeah.
How much is it
It's
costing? 25 or 35?
30 million euros or
30
something,
million.
which
For what,
is like
for what he
25
can
million
do,
pounds.
if
Yeah.
he reaches his potential, that like
Hmm.
25 million will look like peanuts. Like honestly,
Mm-hmm. I
it's
guess for that price range, if he can do whatever he's doing and probably elevate it more at City, I think that'll be a steal. But what I feel is that City needs a team that fits into that system, not like people who are good with their hero ball esque kind of thing, right? Because Grealish was a hero ball esque kind of player at Aston Villa. What has happened at City? That
yeah.
side of thing has gone, and he's not been the same player since then.
That might be
I
the
feel.
only problem with Turkey, that will Pep, like I don't mean to say Pep makes players robotic or anything, but
Mm,
will Pep like allow him to be fully his natural game? Because in the matches I have seen Turkey, he has too much flair. Like he plays
mm,
like with his, like he does stuff like, as you said, hero ball. Maybe I don't really
mm.
agree
But
with
he is
that.
very efficient at those as well, though. He
Yeah.
doesn't give the ball away regardless.
So
Uh,
so I guess it's like, I don't think that should be a huge issue for not signing a player. Like
Yeah.
mm,
like for signing a player who has that talent is really good. Like that's then up to the manager to bring that out to him naturally. And I think with
mm,
Grealish, I don't think it's a really good comparison, like Grealish and Cherky, because
mm,
I think Grealish was not, like Grealish has flair, but he's not the kind of flair that Cherky has. Like Cherky is more like he does everything like well. Like his passing has
mm,
flair, his shooting has a good amount of, like he has skill
mm,
in shooting. He's a
Both
good
mm,
feet.
finisher. Yeah.
mm,
And then Grealish was more of a flair, like when he's direct. He used to be so
mm,
direct when he was at
mm,
Aston Villa,
mm,
which under City, the way City face opponents like
mm.
low blocks, which it was kind of nullified because he don't generally get that transitional game all the time,
Right.
and I think that's the reason why Grealish kind of struggled. But I think with Cherky, the only issue would be that his mentality, because he has had some issues with Leon in the
Mm,
past, and his only other issue would be if he can convert his like get that defensive
mm,
mindedness in his game and the
mm,
tactical norms of Pep
mm,
Guardiola. If
mm,
that he sorts, then yeah, he will be for the price and for the age, it's a
mm.
no brainer. Like, to be honest, yeah.
I guess that is fair. I guess probably I'm being too harsh, but
Mm.
again, if you put that price tag that high, it's just going to cost City 25 to 30 million. I think his output will be good. Probably if you tell that he's going to be costing close to 100 million, I think the criticism
And I
would
think
be.
this most of the points I talked about
Mm,
were similar kind of points people used to talk about when City signed Raheem Sterling. Like when they signed
mm,
Raheem Sterling, these were the exact kind of points. Like, will he be able to defend? Will he be able to like
And he
get his
was so
like?
good at it,
And he was so
tracking
good
back.
at City.
mm,
Like he was
mm,
like people forget how good he was at City. Like
mm,
he was like just behind Messi in one season in terms of goals and assists. Like
mm, mm,
in the whole Europe.
mm,
So if even if Guardiola can get that kind of output from him, like even like around that output,
mm.
it's like it's like a home run
Fair,
for sure.
fair
Yeah.
enough, fair. Yeah,
I guess,
yeah.
I guess. So coming to your points around checking what I feel about him personally. So
Mm,
I agree with things, and coming back to when you said stocky, I think
mm,
that actually works very well in Turkey's favor. He's not just
Mm.
a guy with flair who will get budged off the ball because he
mm,
lost the physical battle. He actually
mm,
doesn't fall over that all. Like he's
mm,
very stocky. Like he reminds me of Sami Nasin. That was the first comparison that came into my mind, and he's a lot more
mm,
physical in that tangent. There was this
mm,
graph of him being an absolutely insane alien sort of creator, chance
mm,
creator,
mm,
uh, an almost like Kevin De Bruyne land
mm.
in that end. And as far as it comes to playing hero ball,
Mm.
um, hero ball when people who don't have the right to do it is a different thing, right? Kevin De Bruyne used to have a free role at City for the longest part of his career, and he
Yeah.
used
Mm.
to attempt balls that not everyone would because they can't, and so Pep gave
Uh,
him the license to, right?
mm,
Exactly.
So
mm,
what's wrong in giving that license to someone who has that potential? I know he's only
mm,
21, but he's
mm,
clearly a lot more talented, just creatively thinking than anyone in our team right now.
mm,
Mm.
mm,
Foden is the only one, but Foden's more of a give me the ball in the right place and I'll bang it into the goal
Yeah.
sort of guy.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's kind of what Marmoush and Foden are going to be moving forward, inside forwards from both of the two different sides, left and right.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
Turkey is going to be the main guy if he
Hmm.
signs for us, which almost seems like it's done.
Hmm.
And coming back to the price, even if it
Hmm.
doesn't work, bro, we've
Hmm.
only spent 30 million euros on him. It's literally a risk worth taking because
Ah.
his words, talent and skill wise,
Hmm.
110 million better than Turkey. He's not. He's
Yeah,
not
Hmm.
110 million pounds
I
better than
agree.
Turkey.
Hmm.
Turkey has way too much upside. He's a 21-year-old, one of France's. When France has like massive talent, they're
Hmm.
usually almost legit. People
Hmm.
said that about Olise and Palace, and look
Hmm.
what he went to Bayern, and he's an absolute monster. Like if you
Hmm.
look at his statistics, Olise is actually so good, and I
Yeah.
I knew that when I watched him at Palace as well. He's so
Hmm.
nonchalant about his game,
Hmm.
um,
I'm
and
surprised
his
Olise didn't win Player of the Year for in Bundesliga, and it was given to
yeah,
Wirtz. Yeah, I was
I don't
surprised.
think Wolves deserved it, but
Yeah, I also don't think Wirtz deserved it. Yeah,
who was this? Who are we comparing? It's a bit blurred.
yeah,
Foden, Church,
Uh,
and Fernandes.
so the one in pink is Turkey. The one
Yeah,
in blue is Foden.
I
The
agree.
one in green is Bruno.
yeah.
Yeah,
So Foden, I think Foden's blue, right? And a
Yeah.
lot attacking actions, but slightly more on the left foots because he's just not had great attacking output this season.
Hmm.
Uh, Wait, you're comparing it to his last season, aren't you? Foden's last
E-
season?
yeah. Foden's best season, which is in like 23-24.
Ah, so you're comparing best seasons. Interesting. But look at KDB. He's just clearly creatively minded that he doesn't
Hmm.
actually
Yeah, he
carry to
doesn't.
anything. It's a
Yeah.
pass first
Yeah.
option.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Thing with Turkey is because his graph pretty much covers every single tangent,
Hmm.
he can create in many different ways through his
Hmm.
dribbles, through his
Right.
passing.
Hmm.
So there is nothing about Turkey that I can look at and say, in whatever world, it's
Hmm.
not a risky signing to make at all if you look at that
mm,
price. The
yeah,
Hmm.
upside to the signing is so insanely high
Huh.
exactly.
that
Yeah.
you just can't not take that option. Add
Hmm.
to that
Hmm.
that you have extra time to build up his chemistry and repo with the system because of the
Hmm.
Club World Cup,
Hmm.
and with Rangers, who he is gonna be playing with a lot
Hmm.
because of just how Cherky plays and how
Hmm.
much the eights are gonna be utilized.
Hmm. Hmm.
Marmoush is another, and maybe that Arabic speaking chemistry will come into it. Like Turkey is technically Algerian. I mean, he just chose to
Hmm.
play for France. It's
Hmm.
Nouri, if
Hmm.
we get him, that's another guy who's Arabic and who speaks Arabic and French. I mean, these things, I know it sounds like intangibles, but they matter.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
No,
matter building chemistry with their teammates. And
Hmm.
maybe one reason why Husanov was not built in, he doesn't speak a word of English, and the
Right.
languages he does speak, no one in our team speaks. So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
just he was just so yeah, Cherky will have the right environment around him, and
Hmm.
Rangers to me is like if you put his graph up, is it even possible to put his graph
I'm
up?
trying to get that done.
I think Turkey will be the kind of signing if it works. Like in 1 or 2 years, people will be like, "Where the heck were the other teams? Like, why
Literally,
was no one
Why am
like,
I not able to get him?
like
This is not him, right? Is this somebody else?
no, it's
It has to
someone
be.
it's
It's
someone
somebody else.
else.
Ah, damn
like
it.
how like this is also the main discourse going on around the Sesko Gikores signing for us. Like like the main point a lot of people are using for Sesko is that if we
Uh,
don't sign him in 2 years, we'll be like we missed out on a like generational guy, and like it's the same thing with Turkey. I feel like
uh,
for potential he could be generational, honestly.
hmm,
Like he
hmm,
yeah, I'm not saying this because of his current season or last season. When he was
hmm,
17, 16, he was having that hype around him, like
hmm,
the same hype we had with Odegaard back in Real Madrid. He was that hyped when he came
hmm,
at 16, 17.
hmm, hmm,
And I think he was already starting with Leon at 16 or something, or 17. Like I
hmm.
think he's the youngest ever player to play for Leon. So like he has all
It's
the tools to be generational. And
So
I
I don't
I'm
yeah,
not able to compare both of them because they play two different positions. I guess that is the reason. Because when
maybe
I'm,
he's not
yeah,
really an attacking
ha
midfielder,
ha
so
ha, maybe that is
probably
it.
why. But
Yeah,
I guess coming back to Cherky, like I said, not a risky signing.
hmm,
Plus, I guess City's missed someone with just absolute sauce. Like he's
hmm,
such a saucy player.
ha
Like you
ha
look
ha,
at him, you want to watch him play. Like
hmm.
what I saw him do to United was absolutely insane. He got
It-
benched. He got subbed off.
Hmm.
After that, they conceded. They shouldn't even
Hmm.
have gotten a red card to start with,
Hmm. Hmm.
and been down to 10 men. So that was a
True.
bottle job. But he was absolutely cooking United
Hmm.
by
Hmm.
himself. Um,
Actually, that game, right, kind of pissed me off because he was doing everything but put in the key pass or finish off his chances.
yeah,
In that game, he
But
did.
for me, those
Yeah.
kind of
Hmm.
players don't piss me off because that can be taught, or that can be like that will improve with age. Like
Okay.
like
Hmm.
decision making generally improves with age with players, but
Hmm. Hmm.
that ability to beat your man or to create something out of nothing, that's
Hmm.
not you generally. It's like like it's given, like it's a talent within them.
Hmm.
And I think and I've said this a lot even with Arsenal, like we genuinely as a team lack such players.
Hmm.
Like the main point of difference for me, like in a Barcelona and a PSG and Arsenal right now, or even I don't know about City, but I especially at my club, is that
Hmm.
we don't have a guy like Yamal or like of a Due or someone who just you give him the ball, he could do something. Like he could like literally do.
Things at City, right? They can do that. Like, see, Foden, he
Yeah, they
literally
have
fell off
Foden.
a cliff.
They have
He
Foden.
literally fell off a cliff this season.
he'll be
Wait,
back.
one second. What happened to Foden this season?
So
I just think the last Euros and a lot of the media stuff, and I think he's had stuff going on in his personal life. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I've seen, and maybe he's just having a down year in general. It's too early for me to write off Foden because
yeah,
we saw what he can do. Um, and he's always been the kind of guy who will finish chances, and we were missing that. I think apart from
Hmm.
Haaland, no one was really providing any XG,
Hmm.
goals and assists this season.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
once Foden gets back to even half of what he was last season, add on
Hmm.
to that Marmoush's ability to put on goals, and
Hmm.
then add on Cherky's insane creativity with actual wing backs that we might
Hmm.
sign.
Hmm.
I think City is transitioning to an exciting state, and that just depends on who we end up signing. But these two are a great start. I would
Hmm.
like to see a new right back and a new left back, hopefully Ed Nouri,
Hmm.
because we can get him for cheap as well.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know who the right back would be. I know there were talks about Cambiaso from Juventus around winter, but that
More.
seems to have died down a bit. Who is
Hmm.
a very good player. He's like literally a Cancelo region,
Hmm.
in my opinion. Little less sauce, but can put in good balls equally effectively.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and we've missed that kind of since Cancelo. I think Cancelo offered a lot to the City team and made it more dangerous. We used to score a lot
Hmm.
better goals when Cancelo was around, albeit the
Yeah.
odd mistake in defense. But it was just fun to watch City back then.
I
Hmm.
Without
I
wing
Hmm.
backs, they don't look the same.
Hmm.
Um,
I do think both our clubs went too extreme with the control
defensive mind.
and
Yeah.
structure. Yeah, we went too extreme with it. I think it was a theory which was taken to the extreme by both these clubs. Like
Hmm.
Yeah.
especially at Arsenal this season, like
Hmm.
Arteta from the beginning of the season he was like structure. I want control. Like, but if you really compare this season, even when everyone was fit, and and when last season when everyone was fit, it was a similar personnel, and the game
Hmm.
was just different. We are
Hmm.
still playing low blocks in both the situations, but
Hmm.
Yeah.
still we are struggling so much more this season because we are not willing to play that first pass faster and
Hmm.
being more like quick. And
Hmm.
Up tempo.
I think this will change a lot. I think with the signings even City are going to make, and even we are making, and I
Hmm.
think tempo will increase for these two clubs, and I think it's going to be. I honestly think next season might be one of the most interesting title races in a long while. I really do think.
We'll
But,
see. We'll
but
see.
personally, from a future looking outside thing, after having discussed transfers and etc.,
Hmm.
I don't think we might be up there, but I don't see us winning another Premier League next season either.
Okay. Okay.
I think one season for this team to settle back in
Yeah,
is probably
Hmm.
what I'm looking at, and a much better run into the Champions League that we had this time. I wouldn't.
Hmm.
I'm hoping for a bit,
top eight
definitely
for
top
sure.
eight,
Yeah, I
top
Hmm.
think
eight,
they will.
Hmm.
and better performance. I think that's what we should look forward to, and maybe one domestic trophy out of
Hmm.
Carabao FA. But I'm not hoping for a Premier League next season.
Me and Sucheet are the standards are just different at Sucheet.
I mean,
Yes.
I think getting Champions League and doing well in the Champions League, if not winning it, is like base standard for most City fans now. I think it's a bit of a
Mm,
spoiled nature thing, but after coming so far, it's hard to expect that we do anything like that,
It's
especially
spoiled.
under Pep Guardiola,
mm-hmm.
because that's the standards he's put for himself. That being said, I have a feeling he'll still leave next year. And I think all of this is marrying up very nicely. There's rumors about Jurgen Klopp being the next Germany manager, Julian Nagelsmann not wanting to be the next Germany manager, and him glazing City every opportunity he gets. I feel
Okay.
like Julian Nagelsmann's gonna be the next City manager, and Klopp will be the next Germany manager after the World Cup.
I think signing who's the guy who they got as assistant?
Uh,
Line
uh,
Julian
Pep
Klopp.
something,
I
Pep
didn't even
something.
talk
Yeah.
about him, but
So I do think that would really help getting like a Nagelsmann and Rangers, both young guys, assistant.
Hmm.
And,
But I am
yes,
assuming that that guy wants to become the manager if Pep leaves because
no, no,
he
no, no,
was.
no,
oh, no
no, no.
chance.
He's not a
He
good
just had
manager.
he had a full time job at Salzburg. He
He was shit.
messed it up. He was
But
so
he
Mm,
bad.
was so good under Klopp. And you know
yeah.
what's interesting? I think Klopp's rated him a lot, and he's been one of the pretty important people in that
Yes.
gegenpress and high intensity thing.
Mm,
So if
mm,
we're signing a guy like that as our
mm.
assistant coach, we're literally looking at a transition because we don't play like that, you know.
You
Are
know,
we looking
Arsenal.
at yeah?
Like, when Arteta and him were like doing the courses together, Arteta literally said that I'm going to go join Arsenal. You come and join me. That guy said no, I'll go join Klopp. So
Oh,
imagine him.
Linda.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
He's also called Pep, so we'll have two
Yeah.
Peps now.
This
Yeah.
guy, this guy will be trained by Klopp and Pep. Like imagine, like the knowledge this
Uh-huh.
guy will be having is crazy.
Do you know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm most excited about? Is a new
Okay.
set piece coach. Because
You're
my
getting.
god, we're so shit at them. And Kolo Toure is apparently gonna
Yeah, the
be in
defense
Ha
the
guy.
ha ha ha.
in the thing as
I've,
well.
I've,
And
I've read, I've read.
You know
Yeah.
what's the
he's
fun?
been a good he's had a good track record of he was already in City's lower academy teams as a
Mm,
Hmm.
coach recently. So it'll be nice to see a Toure,
he was
even if
even
it's
part
Yaya.
of like Brendan Rodgers' team in like Leicester. Like when
Yeah,
he was at
yeah, he was.
he
He
was.
was
That's
from
good.
a defense sort of thing as a coach, I think, and he's a good coach. And not everyone has had to have a spectacular career to be a good coach.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
but that being said, shout out to two players who've ended up being amazing coaches, Enrique and Pep. Good friends during their time in the Spanish team, in the Barcelona team, and the
Hmm.
only two managers to have won trebles with two different teams now, both Spanish.
Dude,
Brilliant
Barcelona have churned out some insane. I mean, not
managers.
Barcelona and Spain, to be fair. Like, if you
It's
say,
a
if you see
Because
Spain, it's
it's
yeah.
like it's because they have so much emphasis on tactics. Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
like even the way their youngsters like understand the game. Like
Mm,
it's and if you even see even from Spain, the guys who become good managers are their midfielders, and
mm,
like Spanish midfielders are very famous for being tactically sound. So
mm, mm,
I think it's the I don't know if you've seen a documentary and people talk about it's the Johan Cruyff
mm,
um,
mm. Yeah.
learnings. All these people always credit back to Johan Cruyff. So
no,
maybe
Mm,
it's
mm,
that.
it's not necessarily like obviously Johan Cruyff is the Barca link, but
Yeah,
for example, if you see like even a Xabi Alonso who came
yeah.
mm,
like from the Sociedad, Arteta's from Sociedad, like
mm.
even
Yeah.
those kind of regions of managers, like they've been really good. Like
Pep, this guy, yeah,
I
it's
mean,
something
yeah,
else.
but the main influence has been Johan Cruyff because he basically started the school of thought, which
Yeah.
Mm,
Pep Guardiola has now taken to
And
another level.
Enrique. Yeah.
Yeah, but
mm.
So
It'll
yeah,
be
it's
interesting.
I think that's all from a future
Yeah.
perspective. I'm still thinking it's gonna be a second or a third next season though. So
One player that I want to talk about is this one, Aint Nouri, right? Because
yeah.
if you see as an eye test, this guy has insane tiring. He can win duels and all that. But this one, progressive passes. I think for
Hmm.
City, if you want to succeed at City, your progressive passes have to be good.
I don't agree.
No?
I don't need my wing
Okay.
back to be putting passes in. I don't think progressive pass. I think the definition is not clear. If all he's
Hmm.
gonna do is bomb up forward and put a cross, and that's not considered a progressive pass.
Ha, ha,
Uh,
ha.
so
That's
that's
called a
what I
carry,
want him
right?
to.
That will be called as a carry.
That's a carry, and that's what he does well, and that's what we
Hmm.
need him to do.
But
His
his crosses are also not
excess.
that great. But I guess that can be improved, I guess.
I mean, it's also a team thing.
mm, mm,
How much space does he get to do it in Wolves? And how much more
mm,
space will he get when it's someone like Marmoush or Doku creating
mm,
the space for him to just run down the flank? So
mm,
he may
mm,
not be the best option out there. I think he's a
mm,
great option. I don't know if
mm.
you can make up a graph of Anthony Robinson or something. I don't know how good those guys are. Um,
Robinson,
he's
Robin.
another option who I think is quite solid.
Oof.
A
And
lot more. Yeah,
Robinson is another player that I rate highly because
same.
he is a solid player. It's just that poor
A
guy
lot
is
older.
about he's like 27 or something. That is the whole reason why he's not making that big move, if I'm not wrong. But
Yeah.
I think if Madrid wanted a solid left back and didn't want to invest too much, like on a Theo Hernandez or player like that, I think this guy is a good option. But again, they're investing in Alvaro as well. So yeah. But Robinson,
I heard
highly
someone
rated.
was interested in Robinson, right? I heard some
Hmm.
rumors. Who was it? I don't remember honestly. I think it was some. It was a good team, but
I've not read anything regarding a Premier
yeah,
League
I don't
team
know
being
if
linked
I'm
to
maybe I'm
Robinson.
mistaken, but
Hmm.
he should have been in someone's radar for sure.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Try Cambiaso on this chart because he's
Give
a
me
left back and a right back. Yeah, there you go.
what?
Ah, try his last season. He's not played that much this season.
Okay.
Maybe
Cambi.
he's just a run and cross kind of guy. Yeah,
He's not played that much either seasons, but he is more attacking than he is
yeah, he's like
defensive.
Bombard and
Yeah.
Very Cancelo types. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. We'll just
Uh,
put Frimpong for just comparison reason.
Frimpong should not have any defense on him, bro.
This one,
No,
no?
it's the second one. No, no,
Oh
second one.
Ruja.
God.
Which one is he?
Purple. But
Purple.
oh my god, he's purple.
He's so extremely attacking. Like there is
Oh
literally no
god.
defense.
Yeah, basically they just replaced Trent with Dutch Trent.
Uh,
That,
uh,
Kirkes is a little bit
put
better
in
in that
put in
end, I
Trent.
think.
Put in Trent. Yeah.
Trent.
Put in Nunes as well. I like to see how he actually does in comparison to some of our
Wait.
targets.
Uh,
First,
one
put in
second.
Trent.
Uh-huh.
You can remove Ed Nouri
I'm
from
planning.
this now.
Yeah, so I'm thinking. No, I'm thinking of removing Robinson because Aït-Nouri is who
He's an
we
actual
want to.
target. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's an actual target, no? So I'll remove Robinson. Cambiaso will keep. Who's the other one? Kirkes, no?
Kirkes and Matheus Nunes.
Wait, what is the spelling? No, what is Kirkes spelling?
K A
K K?
Kerkes.
First
It's
one.
right. I don't think
Nunes.
Matheus Nunes will be there in this one.
Yeah, he won't be a fullback.
Oh, it's
He
actually
will
there.
be.
What the hell? He's actually there.
He's a fullback, bro.
Oh, damn. Okay. So we got Trent as orange, which is like, damn, defensive actions are pretty high than what I thought. Okay, that's fair play. Progressive
That
passes,
doesn't seem right to
obvious,
me. But he
obviously.
he he has no orange in the upper part though. No duels, no aerial,
No, no,
no carrying.
this is if you see his duels here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Where?
orange is there's no duels there.
Oh
It's in the
my god,
middle.
I think this is. I think. Oh shit. Actually, from here
He's
it connects
horrible.
here. Oh yeah,
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 his
yeah.
duels are here.
that's his
His
main
aerials
weakness. He doesn't. He gets beat one on one on.
carry. He doesn't carry the ball much. Damn,
Yeah,
big man.
like
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
have
yeah,
you
yeah.
if you watch him like what he does, he gets the ball in the half like
And
the
he just
half,
passes it along.
and
Yeah.
then he
Wait,
gives the
what do
ball
you mean
to
his crosses are bad? What do you mean his crosses are bad?
I think
His
he's not
cross.
efficient. He crosses a lot. Yeah.
he's not
His percentage.
like
It's not.
Hmm.
he
Yeah.
puts it in, but doesn't mean every time something will happen from that
Maybe this was
Expected
like.
assists is very high though for Trent, and that's probably
because of my Darwin Nunes.
well.
Kirk is actually. You know what? We'll remove. Okay, yeah. No, never, nothing. But
I
Nune,
can't.
what? No.
Remove some of them, man.
Nunes
Uh,
hasn't played that many minutes, so it almost feels like a non-comparison. So you can remove him.
wait, where is Nunes? Nunes
He's
Last
is
only
this one.
just remove him, na,
Hmm.
last one.
yeah.
Okay, Nunes. If you remove Nunes.
Who else are the
Hmm.
targets for City? I've not heard very many names, and I don't know how many names there are in Bundesliga or somewhere that we might actually end up targeting. But these are
Hmm.
the only ones I've heard of. If from a right back perspective, there's Livramento actually. You might want to put in there.
Hmm.
I'm not
No, actually.
confident Newcastle will sell him, but there's been a lot of
Uh,
chatter.
mm-hmm. Leveramento. Wow.
He's I thought his defensive output would be a lot more than that because he looks
Yeah,
very solid from a
that's
defensive
what
perspective.
I felt. His defensive actions are pretty good, but I guess he's just a aerial winning duel. He's an aerial winning monster. But I genuinely
But
feel
that's
his
less than
defensive action.
Cambiaso, though. Do you know what I mean? Cambiaso is a
I'm.
little bit tall, to be fair, but
Mm-hmm.
that might help.
Uh, Nunez played 2.6K minutes. This what?
Yeah, so this might not be entirely right either.
Huh. Okay. If you had
It
Nunez,
says 1.8 over here, doesn't it?
Maybe it's
1.8.
not the whole season then. Yeah.
Wait, did he mean? Wait, did he mean? Okay, we're talking about Matheus Nunes, not Darwin Nunes.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, you need a
Transfer
coffee.
market. Transfer
Transfer
market.
market is you can try transfer market. I don't know if they do charts and stuff, but
I mean, that's what the whole point of this one is to do. Okay, total.
they
Ah,
might
total.
do.
Mm-hmm.
This
Uh,
No,
might
we'll
be
just
only
check.
league. Who knows? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it might not be fully accurate, but I think to an extent you kind of see what people are good at and what they aren't good at. So
Mm-hmm.
you can probably remove all these players and go over Rangers and Morgan Gibbs White, who's our other target, and
Is
other.
it? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah,
is.
yeah. Ha, 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 ha. I forgot. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I think that might be dying a little bit though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will be Cherky over Gibbs White.
Midfielders,
Gibbs White.
Cherky and Rangers maybe.
You
Yeah,
want to
there we
put
go.
Cherky
Just
here as
And
well? Okay, no, Cherky is more like that.
Morgan. Yeah.
I think he's a right winger or something who plays as a cam. If I'm not wrong, that is the whole reason why you can't put them in a midfield conversation.
Yeah, so Rangers is clearly better than Morgan Gibbs White, and only thing he's better than is key passes,
2680.
which we
Damn.
don't want
Okay.
Rangers to do anyways if Cherky is coming in. So
Uh-huh.
there's nothing Gibbs White does better than Rangers. But I
Hmm.
think it's a homegrown quota thing where City
Hmm.
is considering one of Livramento or
Hmm.
Morgan Gibbs White. But I would
Hmm.
just use that homegrown quota in like Trafford or something as a backup keeper instead.
Hmm. Hmm.
But McAtee is leaving. Stones might be leaving. Ake, Gundo, Bernardo. Oh,
Hmm.
I can't. I think the City is gonna have a lot of sell-ons
Hmm.
this year. A lot of people.
Nunez also had a better GA than the other two except Ain Nori.
That's what I'm saying. His
Ha ha.
GA output is, but it's a little bit flawed because Nunes did start quite a few games at wing.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
but my point doesn't change. He knows how to put a good ball in
Yep.
and run.
Hmm.
So
Oh
Nunes is
damn.
definitely a good
Hmm.
prospect.
And if I was a City fan, I will take Ain Nori over Nunez.
I mean, it's not the same. Nunes is playing right back. Aitnouri is a left back. So
Mm-hmm.
my point is, Guardiola should not be playing at left back. That's all.
Huh. So yeah, this is what he says. Yeah, 2680. Damn. So this number is from where?
I think
Hmm.
it's Premier League plus Champions League, not the cups.
Okay, maybe that is what. Because how much was the number when we last checked?
1.8. So it probably didn't consider.
One,
Did it only
one.
consider domestic competitions?
Okay, okay. Huh, then yeah, because no,
That's possible.
if it's 1.8 as well, then it
Yeah,
doesn't. It still isn't right because
it's just
1.6
domestic
here.
competition, maybe
No, no,
FA and Premier.
1.6 plus 270 is itself like what one close to 1.9. So I guess.
I don't think we need to delve into exact numbers. I think it doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
matter. I guess the
Mm-hmm.
point still stands. He's a high GNA output guy, and
Hmm.
he can start next season, and we might not end up getting a new right back. But I think we do need to get a new right back because even if he
Hmm.
does get injured, then we literally have no options there. And I
Hmm.
see
Hmm.
Rico Lewis get loaned or sold, to be honest. Loaned,
Hmm.
at least.
Uh,
Um,
if you guys want to know regarding the keeper sale edition of Man City, watch out
yeah.
because that video will might drop tomorrow. Yeah, I've gone completely haywire with my bullshit here.
There's also
Ah,
Oscar Bob,
mm,
who is basically, I think, will end up being the Lion Cherokee backup, in my honesty.
mm-hmm.
Uh, he has so
Livramento
much upside.
has one GA played most minutes among the others.
But he's not an attacking, he's a
Ah,
full
yeah.
back. He's not a wing back.
Mm-hmm. I
Uh,
think this one, Lewis Hall is more of. attacking option than they were meant to, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Because
but
from the left hand side more.
I think it's one of those
Hmm.
where Pep might be thinking of a system. If this is the idea here that
Hmm.
we're gonna, so that you at least have three people behind when everyone's bombing up forward. So one
Hmm.
of the
Hmm.
fullbacks needs to be good enough to cover that extra third centre back space when
Hmm.
everyone's bombing up forward, and that's
Hmm.
where Livramento would be a little bit like Kyle Walker,
Hmm.
but he's better on the ball than Kyle ever was.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so I think that's the kind of thing they're looking at, because if Rainet Nouri is the guy we go for, then our left side is always going to be exposed. So you need at least three people behind to be able to cover that spaces, or
Hmm.
one of your six or eight go and cover the wing back space every time. But
Hmm.
I think Reinders and Rodri would both very happily want to be attacking rather than defending.
Right. Right.
Um, so it's a lot of things. I mean, only Pep knows the answer to it, to be honest. And who we
Hmm.
sign depends on if we get them, if they accept us, and many things like that. But Eth Nouri to me doesn't seem like we should work too hard over trying to sign him. I think Eth
Hmm.
Nouri should be a very easy signing to make if we really want to make it.
Hmm.
And it'd be great to have him, Marmos and Cherky, bro. You
Hmm.
know? So,
Hmm.
so yeah, our boys, our Arabic boys. Um, Especially after Mamu scored that. I was actually there. I know I
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
telling you
Hmm.
guys, but
Hmm.
when
Hmm. Hmm.
Mamu scored that against Bournemouth, I was there, and it was one of the
Hmm.
most emotional moments of my life in general, because Kevin De
Hmm.
Bruyne has meant the world to this club and to
Hmm.
myself. So
Hmm.
um, it was a very emotional send off for him, and it was beautiful in every aspect. But I think
Hmm.
I'm gonna start watching Napoli a lot more now, only for the sake of De Bruyne. And I
Execute.
don't know if
Ha.
you
Ha.
remember from the graph you just put up right now,
Hmm.
De
Hmm.
Bruyne had the least minutes and he had the highest assists, XA, everything on that list
Hmm.
when we were
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
comparing Turkey and every one of those,
Right.
while playing half those minutes, by the way.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
so he
Yeah.
still got it, bro.
Hmm. Bro says Cambiaso. I know I'm harsh on him, but he is shit defensively and also doesn't have that GA numbers like Nunes. But obviously, Thiago played a big role in that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Thiago Motta is a
Mota.
shit,
Haha. Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
manager, but yeah,
One more stat I have for you guys. Guardiola has least number of errors leading to goal in Premier League as a centre back, whereas Guardiola has the second highest. Damn.
I mean, we all
Damn.
know Guardiola is an absolutely sensational centre back. We've all seen
Hmm.
Croatia's glory
Hmm.
run
Hmm.
uh, in that World Cup, apart from the Messi moment which happened to him. But that's fine. I mean,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
Messi,
Hmm.
bro. I'll take my L if it's Messi. If it was Messi, I'd just sit down on the floor with my hands up and say, "You go past. Don't do anything bad to me." Uh,
Hmm.
or Neymar either, because I love Neymar. But
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, Cavadiel is a centre back. To me, he's the next
Hmm.
centre back option for City, and he should
Hmm.
start with Ruben Dias and Guardiola should be the pairing moving forward from now on.
Hmm.
And whoever fullbacks, wing backs, I keep saying fullbacks, wing backs,
Wing
we
backs.
get.
Should be it. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I think our stream has come to a natural end. Guys, in the concurrent reviews, do send in your last comments. We'll take that in as well. But yeah, we'll just wrap it up from our side as well. Salu, any final remarks regarding Man City?
Yeah, I guess like this was a bad season for them from their standards, but
Hmm.
I don't really feel that they will not be in the title race next season. To be honest,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think they will sign players, and already the signings they are linked with. I think it will elevate them back to that
Hmm.
level, and I do think they'll be in the title race next season.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, so I think as much as I don't like to say that, to be honest, because we know if City is in the title race, they'll probably win it. So yeah,
Huh.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
looking
think we'll
forward.
be challenging yet. I think we need one more season, but we'll be much better. But it's not hard to be better than what this season was for us. So
Mm. But
Same
I don't
here.
think you'll follow, but I think you will be there in the top four race again. See, title winning race could be a stretch depending on because I've not seen how Rodri will do with Reinders and Cherky, right? So we need to see that combination. If that combination doesn't work out, then again there will be
Plus, it
that
also
issue.
depends the way Liverpool are signing. It just looks like they might even just do a madness again.
Hmm,
Yes.
hmm, hmm.
I
No,
mean,
I'm talking from City point of view itself. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
from
think we I think we won't be challenging, but I don't think we'll be in a top four race. I think it'll just be we'll
Hmm.
be in the top four, but not a race. Like race would be
Yeah.
where we're struggling to make it like this
Hmm.
year. I don't think we'll
Hmm.
struggle to make top four. We
Hmm.
should
Hmm.
be in the top four.
Yeah.
That's probably where I think we'll be. second or
Same.
third, hopefully.
I was
Um,
thinking top four as well.
I
I was
it's
think
thinking
gonna
top
be
four.
us, but Chelsea might pull off a blinder. Who knows, man?
Yeah, you
Chelsea
never know.
looked good up until a very good point this season, and they might
Hmm.
very well do well next season.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Especially on the back of winning this and not having to play in the champ. But they are in the Champions League, I
Now,
keep
now,
saying.
now they're in Champions League. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think the top three will be the same from this season. I don't know
yeah,
the order.
probably.
Yeah, but I don't know the order.
Hmm, we'll
Well,
see. We'll see what
here's the
happens.
one thing I do want from next season. I
Hmm.
hope Leeds or someone, at least someone, stays up.
Yeah,
That's all I want.
Yeah,
Um,
please.
it stays up to be
I
honest.
think Leeds stays up as well. I think Leeds actually has that aura about them. Plus, apparently, they have 100 million to spend this summer. So, who
They
knows?
have Red Bull backing, so yeah.
Literally.
Hmm.
Plus, they
Nah.
have history. They've been one of the biggest clubs in the
Hmm.
country,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
historically speaking. So,
Hmm.
uh, is it called Ellen Road? Ellen Road is
Yeah,
back in the
Ellen
Yeah,
Premier
Ellen
League.
Road. Ellen Road.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Hmm.
So yeah, let's hope that happens. But yeah, that's it from me, guys.
Comments will take. So I think you guys should consider Aint Nouri. Dude,
He is the
when
main option, buddy.
when people say that, oh, they're fallen off, they're going to Wolves and buying players, he is a good player. Just because he's playing for Wolves doesn't mean that he's a bad player. He is a
they're
good
right.
player.
Same player, same things. These are the things what the Italian teams and Bundesliga teams do. They buy from these clubs and then they'll
Mm,
sell them off for 100, 70, 80 million. Rather
mm,
than
mm,
Literally.
you just buy off, you just remove the middleman and buy him
mm.
directly from Wolves.
Look at Vitinha. He couldn't crack that Wolves come midfield, and then he won a Champions League yesterday as a main player there. So I don't get this shit when people say that, oh, they're fallen off, they're buying players from Wolves. It, there are some gems in the league as well. Just you got to pick them up and do something.
Yeah,
It's all scouting. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and whether we fail. We've been tracking Ethnori for a while actually. I just think now
Mm-hmm.
this come to a point where we need a system where we need a player like him. So we're actively gonna try and get him. But let's see what the transfer season holds. I'm hoping at least Rangers and Turkey are done by next week, and the week after that is Club World Cup. So uh, let's see.
Sunday should be fun in the transfer.
Rangers should be fun, and Turkey as well. I just want to watch Turkey. I like seeing a player who makes a difference play in the team, and that's what I've liked about watching De Bruyne play. Because I knew somewhere somehow he's gonna put a ball in, that's gonna do something. But with Turkey, it's a bit different. It's not about just hoping that he put a ball in. It's about he can end up doing something that I've not seen in a long time from a City player. So
Right.
dribbling past four people, three people to get a good ball in or a goal. De Bruyne didn't do that. De Bruyne just put a ball in from wherever on the pitch. It's a bit different. But if Cherki can live up to his potential for 25 million, man, the league will be different. Like, I hope he puts better numbers up than words. It'll be really funny. Uh, it'll be really funny, and he
uh,
has the potential to. So yeah,
mm-hmm. Party 100% staying in Arsenal, source AFC Bella, and damn it. Yeah.
why damn it,
See,
he's great.
I want him. See, on his day, he's fine, but
No,
Bro,
he should stay. He should
you
stay.
you put him in bad spots. You put him at right back and stuff when he's clearly not
in
one,
the
and then you
midfield, the
try
number
to
of
reset.
times he's so bad in out of position, the way he loses the ball, as well, it's just.
But we
Okay.
need
Everyone loses balls, though, man. Rice has had his moments. Like Odegaard's been like why is the
Hmm.
singled one out. Like he's been consistent fairly. Injuries wise, he's been better this season.
After
Keep him.
like what? After 4 years of waiting for him, finally one season he's available.
He's doing better than Calafiori is that way. So
Hello, 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 hello.
I,
um,
I do believe we need to keep him because
see.
what's the point of leaving one midfielder and then just signing a new? Like that's the same.
In that point of view, I get it, but I wanted him gone like 2 seasons back itself. So yeah, that's why I'm saying that he should leave. But anyways,
Well, that
we'll come regarding transfers and all that later.
let's see if
Yeah.
Zubimendi is fully done and signed yet. Like,
I mean, he's had his medical, he's done
I
and
already
all
had
that.
his medical. Yeah.
okay, then it's fine. I mean, I think Zubimendi is gonna be the starting six, and Declan can finally happily keep going up the pitch because that's what he
Mm-hmm.
prefers doing.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see how Thomas Tuchel utilizes all these players as well.
Mm.
What kind of system we have for England
Mm,
moving forward, so that'll be
mm,
interesting. I swear they're
mm.
playing in a few days, aren't they, England?
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, the women are playing the
No,
national league.
there is international.
No, they're in Spain. I swear all of them were at the Barcelona GP today, all the English players.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
they're playing Andorra.
Anyways, it was a national. It's a nations league. I don't give two shits. You tell me Euro or something, I can watch. But Nations League,
Yeah, but the
Club
World
World Cup,
Cup's coming up. All this matters, like form
the
system.
Nations League.
Yeah, bro, this is where they're
This
putting.
is
This
where
is
you
where
need
they're
to
yeah.
impress the manager, no? Mm.
Okay,
This
in that
this
way,
is where you're
huh.
experimenting. This is where
No,
you
I
realize
meant in
what's
terms of like knowing the team and how they're being set up, I get it. But like watching Nations League and then celebrate, oh shit, Nations League, and I can't be bothered with Nations
so.
League.
As Arsenal and City fans, can we here just say we're all small in a small bit rooting for Norway to do well,
Oh yeah,
just
hope,
just for the sake of
hopefully,
Odegaard and Haaland?
yeah.
Bro, the people will bring out Norway for slandering Odegaard. Like, I don't understand.
I mean, they have quite a few players to not
Yeah, I
not
think they
make
even
it to
have
a competition now.
Sorloth is Norwegian.
Sorloth, Nusa, Bob,
Mm.
Odegaard. Who's the guy?
Naipan,
Uh, no, no, yeah, Nepa. No, 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 no. There's a midfielder, Sanderberger.
Yeah,
Sanderberg, huh.
They have
Norgard, Norgard,
I think their
I
Norgard.
defense
think.
is their issue.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, they have options. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's all.
Harsha says City won't win the Premier League next season. Also, in my opinion, Partey is linked to Barca. I've heard it's Liverpool again.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think so as well.
fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe City will be in the title race, but I don't think they will win it. Fair play.
Not this year, no.
Ainsley, a Barca fan, by the way. We don't need Partey at Barca. Already, we have a bum called Spectator taken. Uh, by
I
the way,
mean, disrespecting a guy who's done so much for your club to me is just strange behavior.
the thing is that they didn't respect him before also. So I fair
He's
play.
he was consistently one of the better keepers in the world, I swear. Uh,
Mm. But the thing is, I've not watched Barca day in and day out. So I've only watched Barca like in those main games or big games, right? So in those games, he seemed all right. And also that time I used to watch football as football and not give too much crap about tactics. So maybe
yeah,
that's why also I didn't clock much. So I don't know. But probably Barca fans have not respected him from the start. So fair play.
Chelsea is not all that though. Just saying, like you'll see
Mm.
his flaws soon.
Mm-hmm. We need Vitinha at United.
United is not
United.
getting anyone, let alone a Champions League winner, bro. Like the only players you can sign right now are players with less ambition. I'm sorry,
Hmm. Hmm.
you don't have an option.
That is true.
Vitinha, Ugarte, and Bruno Cunha.
Awar. Oh,
You
Awar
want
is not.
Awar?
Over
You want
okay. Over
you
my
want Awar at this point? You're just adding to your misery if you get Awar at this point.
Vitinha is not coming to United for sure. That if he goes, then fair play to his fair play for money moves.
Hmm. But
That-
you know what actually ruined Manchester United, right? When Ole was like setting that platform of good culture at the club and like doing all right with that team and like investing in the right players, Ronaldo comes in and then Kalas. The end of all
you
the
can't blame one player for
no, no,
like
no, 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 because the
it was
way
the board
structure.
for signing a
I mean,
bad.
even Casemiro was signed that year, right?
Yeah,
That's what. So that season they signed a bunch of veterans for like no reason. They
yeah.
were going the right way to signing the younger profiles or profiles that suit the manager rather than making like it's a situation where you get the player and make him work at the system, right? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm happy with the situation that United are
That
in.
that is
I'm
that
not
is
come.
what I always say to people who are saying that sign Gyökeres even though he doesn't really suit us.
Hmm,
Like you cannot have win now mentality
hmm,
like for like all the time. Like it's
hmm,
like if it's like a generational player like then okay. Gyökeres
hmm,
is, to be fair, not that
hmm,
generational. Like he's very very good, but he's not
hmm.
generational. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow, I
Hmm.
know, I know that phase, Vardhan. Because so me, Vardhan, and Vignesh have a group chat, and almost like every 3 days, it's like Sucheet, are you signing a striker? Is it Gyökeres? Sucheet, are you signing a striker? Is it Gyökeres? I'm like, bro,
To
wait.
me, he's
Just,
better than Sesko, but I would die
No,
on a
he's
hill.
better than Sesko right now for sure. Like
He is better than Sesko, anyways, not just right now.
no.
That's what my opinion is.
wait
Uh,
on my boy. Just wait on my boy Sesko to join Arsenal. You will see
I
what.
Technically speaking, if you get Julian Alvarez, that's better than all these guys.
Yeah, obviously.
Easily.
200%. There is
That
no
is obvious.
conversation. Right? There is
That is
there is
there is
no conversation. If Arsenal get Alvarez, right? Bro, I've been honest. See, I've said if Arsenal could get Alvarez from Man City because he was on the move, it would have been insane last season.
But
But
he
yeah,
would never
last season
sign
was
him.
I
Yeah.
know, I know. A City won't sell. Maybe Atletico, but again, how much will
Why will
Atletico quote
Atletico
Atletico?
even sell Alvarez? Like it
No,
doesn't
because
make
he's been linked to Arsenal.
No, no, but that's stuff
sense.
that keeps coming out. Atletico
Ah,
literally signed him.
hmm,
He's been one of the better players, and he's in
hmm.
Spain, and that's where he's preferred to be, and that's one of the
Are
main
good
reasons
morning,
he
good
left.
morning.
The
And
thing,
also, he's a very Atletico or Simeone-esque player. If it makes no sense for them to let him go. I don't know. As the Vitinha will join United and leave PSG, huh?
Exactly,
Yeah. Come on, you guys. You also come on. You guys also booed Kyle Walker, and almost all fans said Walker out.
because he has been putting. I mean, the stuff he says is not like in his conversations is not exactly captain like.
Hmm.
He didn't seem very captain like for us for a long time,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Hmm.
he put up some really bad performances, and he continued to do the same at Milan, bro. Like he's
Hmm.
not exactly done a great job at
Ah,
Milan.
yeah.
So
Exactly. What
maybe
happened at
booing is a bit much, but there's no reason why Kyle Walker should be here. But I don't know what's the context to you saying this though, because
no, I
uh,
think you said that Testen should not be booed by Barca fans.
yeah. Yeah.
it's different. Test Stegen, I think, has. I would argue Test Stegen does less stuff, controversial stuff than Kyle Walker's done for us.
Kyle Walker was
That yeah.
like in your most successful period, he was a starting defender for like
Hmm.
a long time. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I was never with like booing him is too much, but like he's not supposed to be at my club. It's a bit different. So
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Test Stegen can still be a good backup, I guess. So
He was a good keeper till 2018, and after that, he had one good season in recent memory, the one we won the league last time. Hmm. Ter Stegen is not a sweeper keeper. Otherwise, he's decent. Sometimes he gets flabbergasted at close encounters, like
no
Onana.
one is as bad as Onana though. Let's not even
Bro,
compare.
Onana. Oh, ah.
Oh, na.
Hmm. Acuna upgraded from 16 place goals to 15.
It is an upgrade regardless. More money and an
Hmm.
upgrade from one position
Hmm.
in the
Hmm.
league.
Hmm.
That's perfect.
Yeah. We are in
Yeah,
talks with yeah, yeah.
we
We
already said
spoke
that.
about this.
Yeah,
We spoke. Wrong decisions in transfer market which made us struggle so much that we are at 15th. True,
I don't
true.
think transfer market is your only problem, buddy.
That is there.
Yeah,
At the same time, right? The set of players that you have are
are
not meant to play five men at the back. And
no,
I don't think that team is so bad to even drop below. Like, if you said you were in like eighth position with this team, right? I think would make sense. 15th is just like I really do not know how you guys fell off to like 17th and then 15th. It's just yeah, wow. Huh, Salu, you were saying?
no. It's. I think the current players are just not good enough. It doesn't matter
yeah.
how many players you sign. You need to just more than half the squad needs to be sold for them to actually get a
Hmm,
competent team. Yeah. So
hmm, hmm. You are not ready to spend 93. It's
it's
not
not
93.
93
It's
is not even a real number. Like
it is
who
63 or 67. It's around like that range. And then plus add-ons or something, but it's never 93. That's a wrong number altogether.
everyone is just fixating on that number when it's not even true. Yeah.
Hmm. Now look what Ter Stegen said, and Walker did brilliant for City for so many years. Ter Stegen never did good. 412 goals conceded.
So that's less than a game. No? That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad though.
I mean, sorry, 416 and 420.
The ratio is still not that different.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
Let me
uh,
look at Edison stats. Actually, you might want to look up the stats for your own keepers.
see, Raya has been having a lot of clean sheets, and also Raya has just played 2 seasons for us, right? So I don't think it's like fair to compare him, anyways. Ter Stegen said he will leave. He will stay in Barca next season, and he said next year there will be only two goalkeepers in Barca. There will be only goalkeepers in Barca next season. That's him and
oh,
Inaki.
new update about Cherky. Yeah,
From
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 Fabrizio.
what's he
Mm,
saying?
Man
The,
City are in club-to-club talks with Olympique Lyon. Price tag will be in excess of 30 million, as Man City are confident to get the deal done by next week.
oh, this was a few hours ago, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah,
this is some hours back, no, not
So
now.
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. He posted on Insta right now. So I
Yeah, he always like he posts on X first.
yeah.
So
But I
oh
mean,
damn, I've actually said X instead of Twitter. That's insane.
Out.
Uh,
Get out. Get out.
yeah,
What? That's not bad.
bro, Edison's 161 and 212, so it's not.
Hmm. And also, this thing, right? I think Chesney is renewing till 27, if I'm not wrong. Or am I wrong?
Chesney is renewing. Yeah,
Huh. So it'll be like Chesney, Ter Stegen, and Inaki, if I'm not wrong.
I mean it's gonna be Juan Garcia now, isn't it?
I mean, if Garcia comes, then I
Garcia
guess
has to
it'll be.
start, in my opinion.
Mm,
He's that good.
yeah, yeah.
Garcia will start, and you kind of need a keeper who's gonna come up with big saves,
Mm,
especially in a
mm, mm,
very volatile
mm,
system like Barca has
mm, mm,
defensively.
mm.
Yeah.
Uh, Krishanu, is it possible for you to like let us know how many clean sheets he's had in like 422 games? Because I know it's almost like a goal a game, but that could be because of in one game they conceded Barca's defense conceded some 2 3 goals and stuff like that, right? So is it possible for you to let us know how many clean sheets he's had in this? Because that will be a better indicator if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
And
but I feel like people.
Ter Stegen can leave our club. He's genuinely rubbish, doesn't dive. Uh, he's over, and the only reason he's at Barca is because he's earning 16 to
if
18
if
million
that's the
on
money
Twitter.
they get, then he should leave. I agree.
Hmm.
If that's the kind of
And
money
also, I
he's
don't
got.
think I mean, he can make it to the German squad, but I don't think he'll start
No, no,
anytime
no.
soon.
Trap and all those people are better than him right now.
Hmm,
Uh,
hmm, hmm,
uh,
hmm. Chesney is renewing, but Ter Stegen isn't taking the news well.
eh, None of the players do.
I
It's
don't
fine.
know. Yeah. Uh, I've asked that thing, right? So, if you guys could let us know how many clean sheets he's had in that, we'll talk about that and then we'll wrap it up because, right, at this point, we're just like continuing because why not? Uh, Ter Stegen in the UCL has been consistently shit. The pressure gets to his head. Hmm. Okay. Is Allison good at sweeping danger? Which wait, is Allison good at sweeping danger? Is Harrison good at sweeping danger with shot stopping his strength? I think his shot stopping is just brilliant, and the way he positions himself is also really good. The way he anticipates as well. That is the whole reason I think he's the main keeper for Brazil over Edison. I know
164 clean sheets in 398 games, kind of estimate.
how many.
I'm looking at Start Muse, and I don't know how accurate they. I mean, they usually are, but I see
Mm-hmm.
398 games
Hmm.
and 164 clean sheets in Mönchengladbach and Barca combined,
Oh, okay, okay.
which is, I would say,
Hmm.
fairly decent.
Joan Garcia has saved as many penalties this season than Ter Stegen since 2015.
Bro, Edison
What?
never saves a penalty, so I'm not
Oh
even.
my god!
Bro,
What?
I said the Dean Henderson, all these people are penalty specialists. Like, I don't think that counts.
Huh. It's like probably Kepa, how Kepa is good at these penalty saves and all that. Maybe that's, yeah, makes sense, makes sense. Uh, wow. Yeah, it was wow, but yeah. We're waiting on you, Krishanu, to wrap it up. But, okay, Zhao. What? It
Oh,
was two
that's
penalties that you were crying about. Two! Two!
He's saying that John Garcia saved two, and that's more than Ter Stegen.
yeah, yeah. So
Ha
basically,
ha.
just I can save nothing.
That's what the number is just two. Two!
That's insane.
That's what he's highlighting.
175 clean sheets in 442 goals. Edison has 122 clean sheets in 276 games, and Edison is a sweeper keeper. Hmm.
I mean, it's easier for him to have a clean sheet, to be honest, Edison, I think,
Hmm.
because we literally keep the ball the whole time.
And
So,
also, your defense is much more stronger than
literally.
Barca's.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, yeah, because Barca has not been in a good period for at least 6, 7 years now. So,
Yeah, yeah,
they've
yeah.
only started getting better, and still they're playing in a flick system where it's
Hmm,
volatile anyway. So, it's not
hmm,
like
hmm,
they would not concede goals. So, yeah,
hmm,
all this clean sheet stuff is a bit gray to me. It's not as straightforward as you think. Uh,
hmm. Yeah, I think that,
but
yeah.
yeah.
At this point, I think it comes to eye test. If you watch Ter Stegen play and is he able to help the team out, fair play. But from the looks of it, he's not been helping because the last time we spoke about Ter Stegen, right? Salu said that he just like fell off instead of, or he tried to dive or something, but he couldn't dive because body was not letting him dive for some reason. And then I saw that reel or something like that. I'm like, it can't be this bad. It can't be this bad. But yeah, apparently it is that bad with it. Yeah, but yeah, that's it from us. The more we stay here, probably we can keep talking. But yeah, it's a Sunday evening for you guys in India. Manchester, it is still what, 6 o'clock in the evening?
6:15. Yeah.
Yeah, six. For me and Salo, it is just morning, afternoon. But yeah, have a great rest of the weekend. Tomorrow we might have a Chelsea review stream. If not, definitely the Man City's Keeper Cell edition will be dropping, and definitely we'll be talking more about Arsenal transfers and more tomorrow. So yeah, do tune in tomorrow. We'll see you soon. Till then, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're in the world. Thank you. Peace.
Uh,